The following is a presentation of Wareham Gatemen Baseball, brought to you by the Gatemen Baseball Network in conjunction with the Cape Cod Baseball League.
As the summer of 2017 continues, the Wareham Gatemen are right in the middle of the Cape Cod Baseball League playoff race.
Line shot by Anchia. This one is back. It's far. Bye-bye baseball. A two-run homer for Jake Anchia.
Drives this one to deep right field. Heading back is Pompey. He's at the track, leaps and makes the play. What a play by Tristan Pompey.
Called strike three in the inside part. Griffin Roberts
swings and drives this one deep to left field. That one is into the trees.
With stellar pitching and timely hitting, Gatemen have taken the West Division by storm.
The 0-2 from Fioli, called strike three.
Throwing back to first base, McIver, and the tag is in time from Sable.
Sends it to right field. Going back is the right fielder. That one's gone. Tanner Dodson.
And now, the push for Wareham's 8th league championship heats up.
Duran swings and hits this one through the gap. Rounding third and heading for home is John Topa. The throw to the plate is not in time, and Topa will score.
The breaking ball called strike three. Dalton Roach strikes out the side.
1-2. Swung on and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts for Brett Canine.
Lines it right back up the middle for a base hit. On the first pitch, Baird rounds third. He's going to come home and score.
Metz sends it down the right field line. It's in for a base hit. Rounding third. Coming home is Duran. He will score. And the Wareham Gatemen are now winners of 5 in a row. The Gatemen walk it off at Spillane Field. How do you like that?
It's Wareham Gatemen Baseball, and it's live on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Welcome out to Spillane Field, everybody. It is the Bourne Braves and the Wareham Gatemen for the final game of the regular season here in the CCBL. Let's send it now down to the national anthem.
Of the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth, with a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Her platform is entitled Choose a Cause, Make a Difference, and is about spreading the spirit of volunteerism, as Jillian herself performs over 750 volunteer hours annually. Jillian has sung our national anthem at several venues, including Gillette Stadium, Fenway Park, and TD Garden, to name a few. Be sure to tune in to ABC on September 16th to watch Jillian compete in the live finals of Miss America. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Massachusetts, Jillian Zucco.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
It is the Bourne Braves and the Wareham Gatemen in the final regular season game here in this 2017 Cape Cod Baseball League season. Jacob Toby, Connor Federico to bring you the action here on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Thank you for tuning in. And, well, 44 games. It'll end after today, the regular season, but the postseason continues on for the Wareham Gatemen.
It's absolutely flown by. What a season it's been. The Gatemen haven't had the most success in the league, but they've done well enough to get themselves a playoff spot, and it feels like we were just getting here in the beginning of June, Jacob, and then, you know, it's time has really flown by, and this is your third season doing it. I bet it's gone even faster.
Yeah, it has, and it's really surprising when you come here. You feel like you just get here, and it's so quick, and with the rain delays, everything happens so fast, especially with the double headers. So it's tough to see, but yes, the Bourne Braves and the Wareham Gatemen finishing off their home-and-home series at Spillane Field. The Braves sitting 21-22, third in the Western Division. Wareham just behind them, 18-24-1, 37 points, finishing fourth in the West. And they didn't get the win last night, but they still do clinch that playoff spot.
Well, you get a little help from the Falmouth Commodores, who have beaten up the Gatemen all season, and then if things sort of stand in the standings like they do by the end of tonight, the Falmouth Commodores will be looking to put a little hurting on the Gatemen again. The Gatemen are hoping that the opposite happens, but it was Falmouth last night who did a big favor for the Gatemen, persevering enough to take home a 7-6 comeback victory against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. That knocks Triple H out of playoff contention, and moving forward, the Gatemen, they are stuck in that 4 spot. We're just not sure if it'll be the Falmouth Commodores or the Cotuit Kettleers yet.
12 runs versus Falmouth, led up 13 last night versus the Braves. A tough 2-game losing streak so far for Wareham heading into this final game.
Well, they've been incredibly streaky over this past month, the month of July and now into August. You win 5, you lose 7, you win 2, and now you lose 2, so they haven't gone 1 for 1 in quite a while. It's been really just a roller coaster of a season, but a lot of fresh new faces here right now. This team roster doesn't look a lot like it did in the beginning of the season. This is a fresh start for the Gatemen, and I know it's the last game of the season, but you know you're 6 games away, you're 6 wins away rather, starting tomorrow from winning a Cape Cod Baseball League championship. I'm sure all those players want to contend for one and take back some bragging rights to school with them.
We'll get to talking about the Wareham lineup when it comes around, but one guy that's not in there, Willie McIver, he's really been struggling the last maybe 2 weeks of this season, and it's probably a good decision to sit him before the playoffs.
I think the dude just needs a rest. I mean, Willie McIver has been playing so often. Stephen Kwan out of the lineup tonight. He has played literally every game since he got here in early July. So props to those 2 guys. This is the first game of the season that really doesn't mean anything. You know, you're playing for momentum. You're playing to please your home crowd. But in terms of the standings, in terms of moving forward, this game doesn't mean a lot. So you mix up the lineup tonight if you're Coach Sneddon, and you put some different guys in there coming from the NECBL who want a Cape League opportunity. Good for them. They deserve it. But the guys who have been here certainly deserve a bit of rest.
If you're Don Sneddon, what are you expecting out of these new guys? Joe Durpich, Giovanni Dinkong, Randy Taveras. What are you expecting?
Well, I think you want them to just go out there and show what they can do. Put the bat on the baseball. In spring training for Major League Baseball, what the goal of all the hitters is to hit the ball hard. And it doesn't exactly matter when they place it. For Durpich, Dinkong, and Tavares tonight, I'd really like to see them just hit the ball hard, and maybe if they get some at-bats in the playoffs, then they can try to hit the ball, you know, in the gaps for hits and try to get on base. But tonight, it's just about showing off what you have, showing what you can bring to this team, and showing the remaining scouts that are here what you can do. It's a big night for these guys.
Put you on the spot as we wrap up the season. What player has impressed you the most? You can go Gatemen or League, or both in that case. We have a lot of time right now.
Well, I really like the contributions of Kyle Kasser and Jaron Duran to this Gatemen team. Guys that, you know, are from the West Coast, have come all the way here, have been hitting really hot as of late. Kasser started the season pretty hot, fell off, and has since come back. But Jaron Duran, he started the season very slowly. He's improved a lot. I also like what the freshman who's catching tonight, Blake Sable. I like the way he's progressed a lot. You know, these are Cape League baseball players, meaning that besides the guys who go and play for Team USA, these are the best in the country, and that's why they're here. They're all here for a reason, depending on school name or school size or their stats from this spring. They're here because they're the best, and they've all impressed me.
Bourne lineup goes like this. Anthony Prado, the second baseman, leads off. Grant Williams is the shortstop. Lyle Lynn doing the catching. He's batting third. Richie Palacios, the left fielder. Scott Schreiber is the first baseman. Jamison Hanna doing the DHing tonight after playing last night in center field. Jared Triolo is the third baseman, batting seventh. Grant Witherspoon, the right fielder, bats eighth. Andy Atwood gets to start in center. He will bat ninth. And the defense for the Wareham Gatemen goes like this. Randy Taveras is the third baseman. Ben Baird, the shortstop. Jaron Duran at second. Jake Anchia at first. Left to right in the outfield, John Topa, Robbie Metz, Giovanni Ding Kong, Blake Sable doing the catching for Fitz Stadler.
Fitz Stadler tonight has an opportunity in his final start for the Wareham Gatemen to really show us something that he hasn't all season, and that's a combination of going deep into a ball game and throwing strikes early in the count. His last appearance, he looked pretty good, went into the fifth inning, but then gave up 3 runs in the fifth, so ended up getting a loss in a game that he might not have exactly deserved to lose, but he's still looking for this big opportunity. It's coming right here for the big fella. 6'9" from Arizona State.
John Putala is the home plate umpire. Frank Auditori at first. Brian Troop, the umpire on the left side of the infield. Anthony Prado, the second baseman, take his hacks against Stadler. His first pitch, in for strike one, and the 44th game of the CCBL season is underway.
Wow.
Let that sink in for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's the regular season's over after tonight. That's bananas.
The 0-1 is outside. Prado, 375. Has only played 5 games so far. No home runs and an RBI. But he has the leadoff spot for the Bourne Braves pretty much locked up. Sends this one foul off to the right. Last night, Prado went 3 for 4, an RBI, 3 runs, and a walk. Really set the tone early on.
Yeah, and it was a game that the Bourne Braves certainly deserved to win. They just out-muscled, out-hustled, outdid everything against the Gatemen.
This goes out to right field. Under it is Ding Kong. He makes the catch for out number 1.
That one at first looked like it might have had the ability with enough topspin to tail in and fall in front of the right fielder Ding Kong, wearing number 7. The same number has been essentially retired for most of the season by the Gatemen, last worn by Andy Shaddid, who was a temporary player in the beginning.
Grant Williams, the shortstop, will step in from the left side. Williams, 318, no homers, 12 runs batted in. Saw him at second base last night, and Prado was the shortstop. They flip-flop this evening. On to Ben Baird at short for out number 2.
Good play by Ben Baird. That's exactly what we've come to expect from him. Whether he's moving towards the right or moving towards first base, he makes really strong throws over to first, and usually they are incredibly accurate, always beats the runner in time, and I've really liked what I've seen from him defensively this summer. He came in with a lot of talent. He's also grown a lot.
Lyle Lynn doing the catching this evening. He takes strike 1. Lynn, 295. No home runs. 21 RBIs, leads the Bourne Braves.
Been a mainstay in that middle of the lineup. Been really impressed with the way he swings the bat.
Lynn up the middle, but Baird, nice grab with the glove on the run. Throw is a little off, but Anchia makes the stretch. And the Bourne Braves go 1, 2, 3. We head to the bottom of the first. No score from Spillane Field here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
When you're sick or injured, you want care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgent-care. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgent-care.
The Down East Lobster Roll combos are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Bottom of the first. No score between the Bourne Braves and the Wareham Gatemen. Let's run through the Gatemen order. Robbie Metz will lead it off. He's in center field. Jaron Duran batting second, playing second. Jake Anchia. Joe Durpich in the cleanup spot. He's going to be DHing. John Topa in left field. Giovanni Dinkong in right. Blake Sable batting seventh, doing the catchy. Randy Taveras at third. And Ben Baird rounds out the order. He is your shortstop. Defense for the Braves goes like this. Jared Triolo is at third. Grant Williams, the shortstop. Anthony Prado, the second baseman. Scott Schreiber at first. Left to right in the outfield, Richie Palacios, Andy Atwood, Grant Witherspoon. Lyle Lynn does the catching for Ryan Simpler.
Simpler, his job tonight is going to try to make this as quick as possible of a ball game for the Braves so they can go into the off day tomorrow and get rested for whoever they're going to play in the first round of the playoffs.
Metz gets the leadoff spot tonight. He takes strike one. Metz 273. No homers and 7 RBIs. Connects with the 0-1. Past the glove of Triolo. In for a leadoff single. Robbie Metz getting it going early.
He can do it in the 9 spot. He can do it in the 5 spot. He can do it in the 2 spot. He can do it in the 1 spot. Clearly now 1 for 1 in that position in the lineup this summer. He did spend some time there last summer, right?
He did. Everywhere but the 3 and 4 spots in the lineup he's hit in his 2 seasons with the Gatemen. Jaron Duran will come to the plate. 282, no homers, 10 runs batted in. He takes strike one. One of the lone bright spots yesterday, Jaron Duran, 2 for 3 with a couple runs scored.
Yeah, and because the Gatemen struggled so mightily over the past 2 days, I wouldn't be surprised if they put a hit and run in motion or something here to try to get the offense jump-started early.
Simpler with an interesting look over to first base the last couple times. 0-1 to the shortstop, Williams. He'll flip to second for 1. Do they get the double play? No, they don't. So Duran will reach on the fielder's choice. Metz retired.
Yeah, never in my life did I think I was going to see Jaron Duran get doubled up on a ground ball, and certainly wasn't going to happen there. The flip from the shortstop Williams was just a little bit too loopy, and that's why Duran was so far in there safe. And Shia in the 3 spot tonight. This is different for him. I enjoy it, though. I think when you're struggling offensively, it's good to change things up.
Check over on Duran.
Yeah, with that move coming out of when he gets in the stretch, you know that he'll never be boring the runners over there. They'll always be on their heels.
Anchia, 228, 5 home runs, 20 RBIs, leads the team in both of those categories.
Yeah, and I mean, talk about temp position players who made the team out of training camp in June. He's the only one that stuck around.
Runner goes. Called strike. The throw to second base. Not in time. Duran in with the stolen bag, and it's his 10th of the season.
Yeah, no shot you're going to get Duran there off an off-speed pitch on an 0-1 count. Smart pitch for Duran to take second base on.
Ryan Simpler, 6'4", 230 pounds. Looks back the runner at second. Pitch outside. There's a rising senior at East Tennessee State.
It was almost like a pitch out. That's what the catcher Lynn could have used on the last pitch when Duran was going.
Check swing from Anchia. Very close. Doesn't go around. Do they say he does? No.
Yeah, no shot.
Brian Troop making that call. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Anchia at first today. Two outside. Sweeping, breaking ball, just missing.
Yeah, Simpler was upset about that call, but that one just never came back down into the strike zone. I think he was a little more upset that that pitch didn't have as much action on it as he wanted to, instead of being upset with the call.
2-2, strike 3. Anchia goes down looking for out number 2.
The designated hitter, number 36, Joe
On 3-2,
from Siena.
you know, you're expecting a pitch that's at least close to the strike zone. That one might have just been a little bit outside, but it's one you have to pull the trigger on, especially when you have a runner in scoring position.
Welcome to Spillane Field, Joe Durpich takes ball 1 out of Siena. Coming in, being thrusted into the cleanup role.
All of these guys coming from the Danbury Westerners of the NECBL.
1-0 connected with, out to left center field. This one will leave the ballpark. Joe Durpich. Welcome to Wareham.
From number 36,
A 2-run shot on the second pitch he sees. Hello.
Well, he is the all-time leading home run hitter of the NECBL, and he comes here to Wareham. First swing, bomb out to left center. There was never a doubt about that one. Just a really hard-hit ball that hung in the air for quite a long time, and it took a big bounce up there in the stands. He's got to be excited, and his teammates have to be too.
John Topa takes strike 1, 274. No home runs, 12 RBIs. Wow, what a way to make your Spillane Field debut.
You wonder if he works himself a lineup spot for Game 1 of the playoffs.
That will be a decision made by the coaching staff. See what they can mix and match. 1-1. Out to right. Going back is Witherspoon, fighting the sun. Makes the catch and retires the side. Not before Joe Durpich hits a 2-run home run to give the Gatemen a 2-0 lead. We head to the second here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Listen to the game wherever you go with the Next Radio app. Catch this station's local broadcast or stream all the action right on your phone. Visit the Google Play Store and download the free Next Radio app today.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1991, holds over 600 events nationwide for players ages 8 through 18, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, plus 400 have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Friendly's Restaurants, a timeless tradition since 1935, is proud to be the official ice cream of the Cape Cod Baseball League and bring together 2 of America's favorite pastimes, baseball and ice cream.
Top of the second, the Gatemen with an early 2-0 lead thanks to Joe Durpich. 2-run shot in the bottom of the first. Richie Palacios, the left fielder, will lead it off for Bourne. He takes strike one on the outside part. Palacios 277, one bomb, 14 runs batted in. And sends this one foul.
Even though Palacios weighs nearly 100 pounds less than Durpich does, he possesses similar power, which is surprising for someone of his stature, but much like Clayton Daniel of Falmouth or Hunter Steinmetz of Falmouth, he can really crank the ball. His home run numbers don't show it this season. Doran Park is sort of a hard place to hit home runs, similar to Spillane.
0-2 from Stadler. Stadler 6'9", 234. The Arizona State product. A rising junior. 1-2. Is cut on and missed. Palacios down swinging for out number one.
Yeah, and now Stadler has a nice test, number 39 versus number 39 right here. Scott Schreiber, he hit a bomb yesterday at Doran Park, and that one might still be in the sky. Not sure if it landed.
That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. 254, 3 home runs, 17 RBIs for Schreiber. Hits this one foul. And you talk about the bomb he hit last night. Oh, man. It was far. A solo shot to start the third inning.
And that sort of spelled what kind of day it was going to be for the Gatemen.
A 1 pitch. In the dirt. Bourne scoring in the first 4 innings of yesterday's ball game. Something that Falmouth did the night before in the loss as well. And that should tell you a bit of a story. And he goes around and swings and misses. Schreiber couldn't make up his mind.
Yeah, that was just a defensive swing. I thought he maybe thought that one was close to his body. Didn't mean to swing there.
Check swing, did he go? No, says Frank Auditore, the first base umpire. Stadler, tallest pitcher on the Wareham staff. His 2-2. To Baird. Drops it. Still going to make the throw. Not in time. Schreiber will reach. And an E6 on Ben Baird with 1 out.
Yeah, that's a tough play. It just took a weird hop on him at the last second. Didn't look like anything out of the ordinary. I think Ben Baird just wanted to, field that one and throw it all in one easy, clean motion. He really had more time than he thought he did with a runner like Schreiber barreling over to first base. He had a little more time than that. So, tough play and first base runner for Bourne.
Jamison Hanna swings on the first pitch, right past Baird, off the mound, then right past the shortstop, in for a base hit. So Palacios strikes out. Schreiber reaches on the error. Hanna with the single, and that error from Ben Baird, his 6th on the season, 2nd on the team, only to Jaron Duran, who has 8.
Jacob, with those 2 runs in the first inning that the Gatemen got, that was the first time the Gatemen scored in the opening inning of a game since July 14th in a 4-3 loss against the Harwich Mariners.
Wow.
That was a Tristan Pompey RBI single to score Tanner Dodson.
And those guys are no longer here.
That's a throwback Thursday for you.
Jared Triolo, the 3rd baseman. 240, no home runs, 10 RBIs. Dodson still leads the league in batting average as he qualifies. And unless something miraculous happens, he'll win the title.
Well, it all comes down to tonight. We have not done the math because I can't do math, but we'll see at the end of the night if he still qualifies for the league lead in at-bats.
He is at 365. The next closest is Alec Boehm at 358.
And he's not playing either.
And he's not playing, you're right. Now getting word that he is inserted into the lineup tonight.
So he hasn't played in a little while. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure. There's a lot of percentage points to make up when you have as many at-bats as he does. Save a 5-for-5 night from Alec Boehm. I think Tanner Dodson's your champion.
On the ground to Anchia. He'll go to second for 1. Throw to first, not in time. Schreiber will advance to third. Triolo will reach on the fielder's choice.
Fielder number 22, Grant Witherspoon.
Yeah, at first I was a little unsure about Jake Anchia throwing the ball to second in that situation. The easy plays at first base, but he was a little further than the bag, a little further away from the bag than I had thought. You get an out where a runner could have been in scoring position with 2 outs. And the Gatemen were not going to turn 2 there. The chopper was just too high, but you eliminate second and third with 2 outs. Instead, it's first and third. In a 2-0 game, that could end up making a difference.
Getting word that Alec Boehm is 0 for 1 so far in Falmouth's ball game. Right back to the mound. Stadler lost it, and then he falls, and a run will score. Schreiber coming in from third. And a 2-1 ball game now.
The center fielder, number 6, Andy Atwood.
That
from
ball
Texas
chopped
Rio Grande.
probably 7 foot 3 inches in the air, and Stadler 6'9". He's about the only pitcher in baseball that could have gotten a glove to that. Maybe that other really tall kid from Kentucky, I don't remember his name, but he might have done himself a disservice. Letting that one go up the middle could have been better.
Andy Atwood takes strike 1. Atwood 162, 1 home run, 4 RBIs, and 1 amazing catch in center field versus the Chatham Anglers a couple weeks ago. And he cranks this one to left, but not making the play is Topa. He couldn't. Triolo will score. They will send Witherspoon. And now it's going to be a ground rule double. They're saying it's a infield, inside the park home run.
The umpires have a really tough situation right now. This probably was not gone over in ground rules. I'm not sure you could see it on your screen, but the ball ended up going under the fence, I believe, and up and over into the stands. So I believe that should be a ground rule double. The ball is out of play. It's definitely a ground rule double. It left the field of play. There's no way they can let all those runs come and score on an inside the Parker.
Triolo and Witherspoon and Atwood came around to score. That would be 3 runs if it stands, but they're having a conversation right now. John Putala, the home plate umpire, Frank Auditore, the first base umpire, Brian Troop doing the left side of the infield.
Either way, this game is going to be tied, and they make the right call. If Harvey Shapiro has something to say about this,
he does.
Well, I mean, what are you going to say? The ball left the field of play.
You can hear him say through the mic, the ball's in play.
The ball's not in play. It went out of the park.
We can hear him pretty good with our mic.
Our crowd mic's doing well.
Harvey Shapiro, 15th season with the Bourne Braves. Well-respected manager, and he's getting a little upset. Talking with Brian Troop.
I don't know how this is even debatable.
Second baseman, number 7, Anthony.
He's going to get
Prado
himself tossed from this game if
Utah.
he keeps chirping at the third base umpire over there.
And he's going at Troop right now. And Troop will run away. And one Bourne Braves fan saying that that should be an inside the park home run. So there will be one RBI in the situation. Jared Triolo scores. Witherspoon goes to third. Andy Atwood to second on the ground rule double, in which he records an RBI.
2 errors in this inning. None of them, no runs would have scored had those errors not been committed.
Back to the top with Anthony Prado, who flew out to right field back in the first. Nice answer from Bourne here. They still have the 2 runs, no matter how they got them. Back to Stadler. Flips to the first baseman, Anchia. And that will end the inning. 2 errors result in 2 runs. This game is tied up at 2 as we head to the bottom of the second. That's Belaine.
The Fuller Family Foundation is proud to support the excellent sportsmanship and character of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
The Sacred Cod Tavern at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa, a quintessential New England dining experience for lunch or dinner, a proud member of leading hotels of the world.
Welcome back to Spillane Field. I'm Claudia Chikamian with a quick Gatemen game break. So like we've talked about a lot the past few days, the Gatemen have had a lot of these additions to the roster late in the season. When I talked to Coach Sneddon last night, he wasn't too impressed with what he's seen so far from the new guys, but yesterday was most of their first days. The position players only had 1 at-bat coming in late to pinch hit. He said, but he mentioned that they wouldn't be here if they weren't great players. He just needs to give them the opportunity. That's exactly what we're doing here today. Coach Sneddon was resting players like William McIver and Stephen Kwan, getting them ready for playoffs to start this weekend, giving Durpich, Ding Kong, and Tavares the opportunity to start, and it's going pretty well so far, seeing Durpich hit that 2-run home run right over there, way out of the park. A great start for him. Now we're going to see Ding Kong have his first start here at Spillane Field just right now. So they're getting this opportunity, and they're so excited to be here, having this great opportunity. The other players are so excited for them to learn from them too. So hopefully they can learn something from what Durpich just did. Hopefully the Gatemen can get back and take back the lead. Now I'll send it back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Claudia. Giovanni Ding Kong, the right fielder, takes strike 1 out of St. Thomas Aquinas. He'll be down quickly. No balls and 2 strikes. Played 61 games in his college season. Simpler's 0-2. Called strike 3, and Ding Kong down on 3 pitches.
Well, you just can't look at that pitch on 0-2. It was so perfectly painted on the outside corner. You know, if you're expecting a breaking ball on an 0-2 count, you know, sometimes you're going to be wrong, even though that's what they'll go with most of the time. Simpler, electing to keep it simple. Go with the fastball, 0-2.
Blake Sable, swing and miss to start his at-bat. Sable 183, 2 home runs and 8 RBIs. Time is called at the plate as he fixes his glasses. Simpler, this is his first start and 5th appearance on the Cape. A 1.12 ERA. 8 innings, 5 Ks, 3 walks. In his last outing versus the Highness Harbor Hawks, a 4-2 loss for the Braves was his best. Went 3 1/3 innings, struck out 4 batters, didn't give up any earned runs. Sable takes strike 2. And he checks with John Putala on something real quick after the pitch.
That it hit the outside corner, which it most certainly did.
2-2, popped up. Shallow right field. Prado, the second baseman, handles it for the second out.
Yeah, and Sable receives the same pitch that he did to make it a 2-2 count. He gets that same fastball on the outside corner, but tries to pull it. He's shown us a lot of his power this summer, but, I mean, the thing he has not shown us is taking that pitch away, trying to drive it to the opposite field for a base hit or a double.
Randy Taveras takes strike one. He is from Marist. Hit 4 home runs and drove in 24 this past season in 48 games played. He's at third. We saw him at shortstop last night.
The Marist Red Foxes. Good to see them getting representation here on the Cape. Interesting that the guys the Gatemen got, Marist and Siena, they're not exactly friendly schools, both playing in the MAAC.
Fouls this one straight back.
There's a bit of a rivalry between those two that I've sensed. Marist in the Hudson Valley region of New York State. Siena more in the capital region near Albany.
Simpler delivers the 1-2. Taveras swing and miss for out number 3. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Simpler. And the Gatemen go 1-2-3. Still tied up at 2 at Spillane Field.
We appreciate and thank the sponsors who support the Cape League and the 10 teams. Our corporate sponsors are the financial backbone of the league. It is with their support that we are able to preserve our long-standing tradition of providing the best family entertainment here on Cape Cod. On behalf of the visiting team, the Wareham Gatemen, league officers, and the entire Cape League family, we would like to announce and thank our 2017 corporate sponsors. With much appreciation, we recognize the Yawkey Foundation, Chatham Bars Inn, the Fuller Family Foundation, Dunkin' Donuts, Curry College, Cape Cod Healthcare, the 99 Restaurants, Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod Potato Chips, Friendly's Ice Cream, Baseball Factory, Cape and Island License Plate, 47 Brand, Cape Cod 5 Cents Saving Bank, Stop and Shop, Peapod. We'll be back to you in the next inning for the second half of this outstanding list of loyal sponsors.
Top of the third at Spillane Field. Glad you could join us in the last regular season game for the CCBL. Jacob Toby, Connor Federico bringing this game to you on the Gatemen Baseball Network. Fitz Stadler goes 2 innings. Doesn't let up any earned runs, but 2 runs score on a couple errors. And Chris Weiss is the new pitcher out of Hofstra. So a quick 2 innings for Stadler. Grant Williams takes a ball up high. 5'10", 215 pounds out of Ridge, New York, Chris Weiss. Popped up into left field. Coming over is Topa. And he makes the catch. Or he doesn't make the catch. Couldn't get to it in time.
Yeah, that one landed right in fair play. I mean, that's almost inexplicable. I think he thought it was going foul, gave up on it. That ball was up in the air long enough that you figure he might have been able to make a play at it. Tough. But Weiss, I think that's his first hit given up as a member of the Gatemen, was one of the only new pitchers to go through a 1-2-3 inning in their first appearances for Wareham.
Lyle Lynn with a runner on first. Ball gets away from Sable for a moment. Was ready to throw down to first base. Weiss made his debut versus the Commodores. Pitched an inning, like you said, a 1-2-3 inning at that. Weiss a 5.17 ERA at Hofstra in his junior season. Primarily out of the bullpen, 27 appearances, just 2 games started. But only a 197 opponent's batting average against him. 2-0 to center. Metz going back. And he makes the catch for out number 1.
Good work by Robbie Metz, only his second start of the season in center field, but he's making it look like he's a seasoned veteran out there, and goes back on that ball over his left shoulder, makes a good catch, keeps the runner Williams where he is.
Richie Palacios struck out swinging against Fitz Stadler back in the second. Swings on the first pitch and sends it foul off to the right.
A matchup of former Hamptons Leaguers right here, Jacob. I know nobody cares but me, but Weiss, formerly of the Riverhead Tomcats. Richie Palacios, formerly of the North Fork Ospreys. Former league MVP in 2016 was Palacios. The HCBL also does an interesting thing where there's only 7 teams and each team gets a home run derby participant. And for the 8th participant, they do a fan vote. And Richie Palacios blew everybody out of the water. He got nearly 5,000 votes.
Why do you think that?
Good social media presence, lots of, friends around, around Towson. He was a more local guy coming out of Brooklyn.
A 1 pitch outside. Sable couldn't hang on, but he keeps it in front. Your knowledge of that league is the same as Sam Corman's knowledge of the New Bedford Bay Sox, it seems.
Well, I was the only broadcaster for all 7 teams, which means I got to choose which games I wanted to do, where I wanted to do them.
No color man.
It was only me.
Finn Scully action. Ball gets through the legs of Sable. And Williams will just jog down to second base.
So after a 2-run first inning, thanks to Joe Durpich and his big bat, suddenly the leading run for the Braves is standing on second base here in the 3rd. Sable a bit upset with himself right there. I don't think, that pitch was supposed to be low, but Weiss has to command the strike zone right now. You're down 2-1 to a dangerous hitter in the 4-hole.
Williams now the runner on second. Weiss, the 2-1. Low, 3 balls and 1 strike. Bourne is one of 3 teams not to tie this season. Orleans, Chatham, and Bourne have not tied. Check swing, called strike anyway.
Interesting pitch on 3-1. That one just getting back inside the strike zone. I guess the thinking for Weiss there is either going to walk him or going to get a good 3-2 count coming up.
3-2. Bounces to the plate. So Weiss will walk Palacios, and now runners at first and second. And last season, only 2 teams didn't have a tie, Falmouth and Hyannis. So 1 more than last year.
I wonder what the breakdown of those is between daylight running out or games going through 12 innings. We know how the Gatemen got their one, the famed 9-9 tie.
Scott Schreiber takes ball one.
Both of these teams hoping that there's no way they go into extras tonight. Trying to rest up for a little playoff action on the 5th, 6th, and possibly 7th. Possibly even more.
In for a base hit, rounding third. Coming home for a moment was Williams. He'll stop there. And now the bases will be loaded. Scott Schreiber is on with a single. Just getting news that the Cotuit Kettleers have lost to the YD Red Sox 12-4. That means Cotuit will stay in second place. Falmouth, no matter a win or loss versus the Harbor Hawks tonight, they will be first in the West. Wareham Gatemen heading to Falmouth on Saturday for game one of the first round.
They've treated us very nicely, the broadcasters there at Gov Fuller Field. The team, not so much. Gatemen don't have a win there.
Jamison Hanna takes ball one.
Can't tie in the playoffs either.
No, you can't.
I feel like it would just defeat the whole purpose of the playoffs.
You're exactly right. Hanna singled in the second. Bases are loaded with only one out in a 2-2 ball game. Falmouth currently losing to Hyannis 6-4, top of the third. But they beat Hyannis last night.
So their destiny is secure. They could sort of just roll through the rest of that one. Interesting, YD just put a real hurting on Cotuit. YD had nothing to play for. You can't sneak into first place. Orleans was 3 points up coming into today. You're certainly not going to fall to third or fourth place in the East. So YD takes a nice win. I mean, it's just a tricky situation having to play a best of three against Falmouth, who the Gatemen, they won the opening game of that season series, have not won since, but you know, I think the Gatemen's play this season, they deserve to play the best team in the West in the playoffs. And Falmouth, in the late part of the season, has certainly proven that they are the best team in the West.
Once you're in, anything can happen. To a pitch. Hanna turns away. Three balls and no strikes to the DH for Bourne. Hanna takes strike one.
Surprised he wasn't given the green light. I mean, what could go wrong? Hanna is certainly not a double play candidate. You're going to get a run in if you put the ball in play.
3-1 to Duran at second. Go to second for one. That's all they'll get. Another run will score. That's Williams. And the Bourne Braves take a 3-2 lead.
Took a hot shot off the belly of Duran. Keeps it one in front of him. Good job doing that. If he catches that ball, you save a run from scoring, but that's a tough ask. Now Bourne takes the lead. I mean, just it's almost not surprising at this point.
Jared Triolo reached on the fielder's choice and scored last time up. Breaking ball in for strike one. Bourne snapped a 5-game losing streak yesterday with the win over Wareham. Seven out of the 9 position players recorded at least one run and 1 RBI.
Sam Corman made a great point in the postgame yesterday that not only are the Gatemen losing momentum, they're giving other teams in the West momentum, and that's the opposite of what you want at this point.
1-1 on the ground. Baird cannot handle it. Palacio scores. Gatemen can't get out of the inning. 4-2 Bourne. Second error on Ben Baird tonight.
Right fielder number 20,
You can tell he's hurting out there a bit. I mean, that's just a play you've got to make. I don't know why Baird rushed. Both his errors today are against the slowest runners in this Bourne lineup and maybe the league. Schreiber and Triolo. I mean, that's inexplicable.
Witherspoon takes ball 1. Also in that win for Bourne yesterday, that was their season high for total runs scored in one game. Previous mark was 8. And that was the most runs the Braves have scored since July 3rd, 2014.
Wow.
Which coincidentally also took place against the Wareham Gatemen.
Well, the Gatemen put a 13-run beating on Bourne here at Spillane on the 5th of July.
And that seems like 7 years ago.
Might as well be. I mean, this current version of the Gatemen aren't playing anything like they were 20 games ago.
And they don't look the same either.
Well, their names are different for sure, but you got to think there's some kind of continuity. Even the regular players on this team weren't performing towards the end of their stints.
Pitch is inside, and Witherspoon will go down to first. Bases will be loaded once again. 4-pitch walk from Weiss. There is action in the Wareham bullpen. We saw a couple moments ago pitching coach Jim Lawler going out to talk to Weiss.
He's clearly very rattled. I mean, he hasn't gotten the help from his defense. Remember, this inning started with a pop-up towards left field. Wasn't ruled an error. Was certainly a single for Grant Williams, but I think John Topa or the third baseman Tavares or anybody should have had it.
Andy Atwood takes strike 1. He doubled his first time up. Takes a big cut. Almost on one knee. Oh, 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Gatemen finally get out of the inning with the strikeout. That one brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exofaris, and Bullard. Bourne, 2 runs in the third. 4-2 ball game now in favor of the Bravos at Spillane.
Continuing with our corporate sponsors, we also want to recognize and thank Franklin Sports, Advanced Embroidery, Cape Destinations, Robert B. R., Sullivan Tire, Vacation Inn Cape Cod Veterinary Specialists, Cape Cod Times, Kinlan Grover Real Estate, Next Radio, Yellow Book, TSA, Rawlings, Cape Cod Chamber of Commerce, Highline Cruises, Sports Picks, On Deck Sports, Barnstable Bat, Hyannis Area Chamber of Commerce, H.P. Hood, Sunderland Printing, and Axis Bats. And of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends, staffed by ER physicians, expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgent care.
Ben Baird to lead it off for the Wareham Gatemen. Bottom 3. He's had a tough day. 2 errors so far. At shortstop. Takes the ball outside. 1-0. Baird on the season at the plate. 162. No home runs for Ribbies. Takes strike 1. How can you rebound from 2 errors early on in a ball game that result in a couple runs. Connects with this one to center. Atwood for out number 1.
To answer your question, Jacob, I'd say by hitting the ball where there aren't fielders. That means getting hits. That means getting on base, and that means eventually scoring if you get enough hits in a row. It's just baseball. Like, it's, you know, teams want to score runs, they need to get themselves on base. Right now, Robbie Metz has one of 2 singles in this game, or one of 1 singles actually. The other hit, Joe Durpich, is coming up.
Metz takes strike 1. But if you're Ben Baird making the 2 errors, how personally can you rebound?
I'd say by keeping your head in the game, realizing that this one, it does not mean a lot. And, you know, while it's certainly annoying to your pitchers Stadler and Weiss, it's, you gotta keep your head in the game, and you gotta figure out how to rebound the next 2 days, because the Gatemen, they really, besides Kasser, they don't have much of a shortstop.
Some music playing at Spillane. It's been an issue past couple games. Computer's a little broken. 1-2 pitch. Up and in.
Well, I feel for Larry over there. I mean, his computer crashed, and that's just.
I feel for him too.
It's like losing a pet.
Good way to put it. 2-2. Mets sent back to the dugout.
And Larry just working with a computer that isn't his, trying to figure out all the buttons and whatnot. You know, he's done such a fantastic job here all season. He could play music throughout the game and then nothing during the breaks, and I think he'd still be doing a great job.
Jaron Duran. Fielder's choice and a stolen base in the first inning. Takes Simpler's pitch to his counterpart at second, Prado. And the Gatemen go 1-2-3 for the second consecutive inning. 4-2. Bourne leading it over the Gatemen.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends, staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgent-care. Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The Wareham Gatemen and the visiting team, the Cape Cod Baseball League, and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation and positive support of the participants and officials. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from this ballpark.
Top of the fourth, top of the order for the Bourne Braves. Anthony Prado, 0 for 2 so far. He will face Chris Weiss. Had a tough last inning in the second, 2 runs scoring.
You know, we were just on the topic of Larry doing the music. He's done a great job all season, but we also...
Baird gloves this one. Throw is off to the left of the bag, and Chia couldn't snag it. Heading to second is Prado. And all Baird can do is hang his head and walk back to the shortstop position.
From here, it didn't seem like that bad of a throw. I think Anchia just got, it was low. I think he maybe thought he needed to pick that one out of the dirt. Instead, it sailed right over the top of his glove. I mean, it seemed like it was a bit off to Anchia's left.
See what they score it. Grant Williams will not step in the box yet. Don Snedden coming out to the hill. Sort of a rare case. We do not see Snedden. And now they're going to look at Baird. His shoulder has been hurting him last couple weeks. And he's coming out.
Yeah, poor guy. I mean, this is a tough situation to be in. You've made possibly your third error of the night.
And now Willie McIver will come into this ball game as he warms up his arm.
I guess he's going to third and Tavares is going to short. That's my guess.
That's what I would guess as well. And not even 4 innings in, your off day taken away if you're Willie McIver.
Well, he loves the game of baseball. He loves playing. I'm sure he wanted this off day. But right now, you need to come in and help your team. That's what's being asked of him. He'll give it his all. Yeah, I mean, it just thank goodness the Gatemen have an off day tomorrow before playing in the playoffs because they really need it. These guys just need to sit down for a little bit and relax.
So Tavares will go to shortstop. McIver to third as he practices his throws with the first baseman Anchia. Just like an injury, if you're a pitcher, you get some extended warm-up before you come out.
Yeah, I mean, it was an injury concern. It's not like, you know, Coach Snedden publicly shamed Ben Baird in the middle of Spillane Field because he thought he deserved it. It's, you know, sit him down. He needs the rest.
Now Grant Williams will step in. And we'll take strike one. They do rule that an E6 on Ben Baird. That's why Prado reached first, and now he's on second with the overthrow.
You know, it's only a 2-run deficit, but the way this is going, it does not look positive for Wareham.
One from Weiss. Down the first baseline, past the glove of Anchia. Prado being sent to score to second. Grant Williams, RBI double. 5-2.
Well, I mean, Chris Weiss looks calm, cool, and collected, but he's got to be boiling inside. His teammates aren't picking him up. He's making the pitches, getting ground balls. It's horribly disappointing. You know, we didn't think it was going to be the errors that would kill the Gatemen tonight, but here we are.
They had only one last night. Lyle Lynn chops this one to Duran. Handles it for out number 1.
Should be number 3. But I digress.
Williams will head to third.
The left fielder, number 1,
Richie Palacios will step up. And again, the feeling here in Spillane Field right now, very mellow, very quiet. They scored the 2 runs, and after that first inning, the home run from Durpich, it's turned completely against them.
You know, the Gatemen, I guess they just didn't come into today's game with the idea that they wanted to play well, and it's tough.
1-1, up the middle. That will send Williams from third. The 6th run for Bourne. They lead it 6-2.
The first baseman, number 39.
You know, the feeling around Spillane Field is, it's definitely it's quietly deafening. Like you said, it's just really mellow. I mean, these players on the field, they're not just representing themselves and their schools, but they represent the people of the town of Wareham and the fans and the hundreds of people, committed people who make this organization run. It's a bit disappointing.
Scott Schreiber reached on the error from Ben Baird in the 2nd and scored, and also singled in the 3rd. We mentioned that he had the home run last night in the 3rd inning. Said that it felt great, not doing it in a while and being able to connect on one. There really isn't a feeling that's any better than that. And he absolutely smoked it. That was his 3rd home run of the season. Check over on Palacios. And Connor, in the pregame, I told Sam Corman my key to the game was to bring energy, to bring life that we saw in that win versus Orleans, where Aaron Hernandez showed his emotions at the end of the ball game. Stephen Kwan was yelling every time the Gatemen scored. It hasn't been there in the 2-game losing streak.
Soon to be 3 if they keep this up. It's been evident that their heads aren't in it.
0-2 pitch, up and away.
And to your point, their hearts most definitely aren't.
Two runs in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, 2 here in the 4th. Weiss with the 1-2.
This is a rivalry matchup, too. Stands are filled tonight with well over 1,000 people. Scattered fans out there in left field. I mean, this is a game that people want to see. And it means a lot to these people. You know, talking to the WCTV guys who run our cameras and to make sure there's switchers on and whatnot. They, you know, Wareham locals, they want to beat Bourne every time Wareham and Bourne match up in anything, high school sports or in, you know, Cape League baseball. You want to beat them. And, you know, none of these guys are locals. Maybe they don't understand, but should want to make your home fans happy and proud. And, I mean, this game's not over. There's 5 innings to be played, 5.5.
Wareham and Bourne, one of the best Thanksgiving football rivalries we have here on the Cape. I've witnessed it a handful of times. My family's from Bourne. Don't know if you know, but they switch every Thanksgiving which field they play at. A lot of teams on the Cape have those games.
Where I'm from, nobody plays football on
Wow,
Thanksgiving.
it is very big here on the Cape. Sandwich and Mashpee. Bourne and, not Bourne, Barnstable and Falmouth. That's probably the biggest one on the Cape.
What about
because of their division? That's the highest division of football.
What about Sturgis East and
Sturgis East? My high school does not have football.
Oh!
Unless you count soccer as football.
Well, that's football.
3-2. Runner goes. Sent foul.
So what's your homecoming, soccer or basketball?
Soccer. It's a long story. The people, it would bore them if I told the story of the history of Sturgis. But I could do it.
This game isn't exactly exciting for Gatemen fans right now.
3 balls and 2 strikes to Schreiber. Swings and misses. Runner goes to second. And do they call the interference? They will. That will mean Palacios is out on the base paths. Schreiber strikes out. That will end the inning, not before Bourne gets 2 more runs. They've scored 2 in the second, third, and fourth to take a 6-2 lead at Spillane.
Do you know what that sound is? That's your new digital marketing department. And that'll be your new web designer. And that's Haibu, where these experts are joined by many more, from web designers to search marketing specialists who work hard to get your business noticed online and on mobile. Best of all, Haibu can do it all for you, or give you the tools to do it yourself. To find out more, go to haibu.com. That's HIBU.com. Or call 855-464-HIBU. Oh, that'll be your next new customer. Haibu, made for business.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. This special weekly celebration of Red Shirt Fridays is sponsored by 47 Brand, HP Hood, Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority, Advanced Embroidery, and the Cape League. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Ryan Simpler's night is done for Bourne. 3 innings, 2 earned, 1 hit, 4 Ks, no walks. Christian Ryder is the new pitcher for Bourne. This is Ryder's 9th appearance. 1-0 with a 4.05 ERA. 9 Ks, 3 walks, and he faces Jake Anchia to start off the home half of the 4th. The Gatemen, they trail by 4.
Joe Durpich on deck. I'm starting to get very excited for those appearances.
Anchia almost hit on the second pitch. Durpich, probably the only bright spot in this game we have so far.
I'd say that's right.
Nice snag from Triolo with the glove and the throw. 1 gone.
Good job by Triolo at an opposing ballpark, especially where the infield grass meets the infield dirt, I'll call it. And, you know, that's going to be a tough hop in that area. Triolo keeps his head down and makes a good throw on a first.
Joe Durpich swings on the first pitch he sees, out to right center field. And he's going to go for 2. He will slide in safely. Joe Durpich is 2 for 2 in this ball game.
Center fielder Atwood made the throw to somewhere between the third baseman and the pitcher's mound. If that had been a half-decent throw, Durpich would have been out by a mile. So good for him for getting a double. Nice gapper right there.
Swings on the first pitch. He's been aggressive. Hit the home run on the second pitch at the at-bat. 2 for 2 day.
That's something that the Gatemen don't regularly do. So you know, you talk about all these players coming in here and learning from one another. That might be something that they pick up on going into the last couple games of the season.
John Topa takes ball one. Don Snedden has continuously said that hitting is contagious.
It's evident by the Gatemen getting so many wins in blowout fashion. And, you know, when they lose, it's because they don't hit. You've rarely seen an instance this summer where there's one Gatemen player who had a fantastic night and then everybody else went over. Like, you rarely see that.
One, just missing low. Wareham coming into this game tonight, 253 batting average, 6th in the league, 179 runs, 4th least in the league. There was a moment when they were top 4 in runs scored during the middle part of the season. 2-1. He goes around, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It's been the runs allowed that have been the nice mark for the Gatemen all season.
180, 3rd least coming into this ball game.
It's still the least in the West, despite the recent blowout losses.
186 now with today's game. 2-2, up the middle, past the dive of Williams. Jimmy Francos will hold Durpich at 3rd.
Good piece of hitting by John Topa, right back up the middle. Durpich, smart to be held up at 3rd base there. You're not going to score on that play. A base hit in the shallow outfield. Atwood was throwing that ball no more than 100 feet away from the plate. So a good situation here for the Gatemen. I don't know much about the speed of the batter Ding Kong, but a ground ball would not be the best.
Ding Kong struck out looking on 3 pitches. His first at bat. Gatemen 6th in the league in on base percentage, 6th in OPS. They have the 2nd least walks coming into this game. And what's funny about that is they have the least walks as a pitching staff coming in with 120. So they don't walk at the plate and they don't walk on the mound. Nice breaking ball for strike 2.
Fooled Ding Kong. He thought that was going to be high, and it ends up just clipping the outside corner right about at the belt.
1-2 pitch. And the dirt. Nice block from Lyle Lynn. Runner goes, 2-2. Sent foul. Topo was off to 2nd.
Like the little hit and run, especially on a 2-2 count. You know, if this pitch is close, unlike Ding Kong's last at-bat where he struck out looking on a pitch on the outside corner, he needs to put the ball in play here, give the Gatemen a chance to score.
Two. Nice at bat here from Ding Kong.
Well, they bring in the new pitcher in Ryder, and it's the job of the batters in this inning to make him work and try to score some runs, try to mount a comeback effort.
Runners at the corners. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Runners go. This one sent out to deep right center field. Going back is Witherspoon. It's gone! A 3-run jack for Giovanni Ding Kong. What a jack that was. Welcome to Wareham.
That 3-run blast, you could tell that the outfielders knew it. We knew it right off the bat. A big shot from Ding Kong with a 3-2 count. We saw a pitch on the outer half, drove it the opposite way, just like Durpich did. We came into this game, 4 home runs by Gatemen at Spillane. Suddenly there are 6. Good for those two.
Sable shows bunt. Pulls it back. Durpich, 2-run shot for his Spillane Field debut. Ding Kong says, I'll have a 3-run blast for his debut. Hitting is contagious.
I guess among the new guys. But it's not like these guys are fresh from sitting at home all summer. They've been busy. They've been playing plenty. So props to them for coming into this new environment. The Spillane walls clearly don't scare them. So it's been fun to watch so far.
Pitching coach Jordan Tabachman out to talk to Christian Ryder. Talking on the broadcast yesterday, Daniel Bees, one of the starting pitchers for Bourne, saying that Christian Ryder is the worst cards player on the team, hands down, as the pitching staff for Bourne loves to play cards in the bullpen.
Interesting that he'd admit that. I mean, usually you're supposed to be paying attention out there. Not that bullpen pitchers do for the most part, but not exactly sure you admit to playing cards.
There's some interesting stories about bullpens and what they do. Some secret, some not. Candles are going in Wareham's bullpen right now. And they all have their hands raised right now. I think they're playing a game. They definitely are. (3-1). Opposite field into the glove of Palacios for out number 2.
Energy here at Spillane is totally shifted, just like ours, Jacob.
It's contagious.
That's what 3-run home runs can do. I mean, the lead is not back yet in the hands of the Gatemen, but if they continue, if the new guys continue, heck, maybe it's Randy Tavares' turn to get in on the action.
He struck out swinging to end the second. Sends this one foul. Giovanni Ding Kong with a little fire in the bat. Anything you can do, I can do better.
Do we have a tally on home runs at Spillane by broadcasters, for broadcasters this season? I only have one. It was a Jake Anchia shot.
Out to right, going back is Witherspoon. He makes the catch. That'll end the inning. Not before Giovanni Ding Kong. 3-run shot. Gatemen now trail it by just 1 run here at Spillane Field. Keep it locked in to the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The Wareham Gatemen would like to thank Mr. Brian Clue and SmartGo Services LLC, located in Taunton, Massachusetts, for being the official sponsors of the Gatemen Player Development Program. The Player Development Program aims to improve both the players' and interns' skills and prepares them for a career in professional baseball. Again, a sincere thank you to Mr. Brian Clue and SmartGo Services.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all that they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
Different ball game at Spillane Field. Gatemen now trail by just a run, thanks to Giovanni Ding Kong's 3-run shot. A new pitcher on the mound. It is John Murphy for the Wareham Gatemen out of Maryland.
Had a tough appearance, his first one for the Gatemen in that big loss against Falmouth here at Spillane. Time to bounce back and keep this game competitive for the Gatemen. Maybe your offense can help you out, get you a win if you stay in this ball game long enough.
He'll face Jamison Hanna, Jared Triolo, Grant Witherspoon. Throws a strike to Hanna. Murphy finished up his sophomore season at Maryland. Was a bullpen arm, 17 appearances, a 1.71 ERA. And talking to Maryland baseball broadcaster for the network, Jake Eisenberg, Chatham broadcaster from a season ago, he told me that John Murphy was a very useful arm out of that bullpen. Highly regarded prospect coming in to Maryland in 2016. He struggled as a midweek starter, then was sent to the bullpen. 2017, got another crack at a midweek role, but struggled once more. Towards the end of the season, he was put into the bullpen, and he told me, Jake Eisenberg, that there's a good chance he ends up being the closer next spring at Maryland.
Certainly has the ability to do it.
Two to Hanna. Is sent to the left. Out of play, foul.
Jake Eisenberg with the Brooklyn Cyclones, I believe now, right?
Yep. Short A season, is that correct?
Yes. In the New York Penn League. Another Maryland broadcaster, only one this summer, and it's Bourne's, Justin Galanti.
The Terps. Really good program over there. Sports and journalism. Sable and Murphy will chat for a quick moment. Eisenberg actually threw out the first pitch in his final regular season game at Maryland's home game.
It's nice.
Decent run for Maryland in the tournament. 2-2.
Did what they were expected to do, make the regionals, and not much more. Not a lot of noise.
It's their basketball program that gets the attention.
Didn't used to be.
No.
When they were in the ACC, they were awful.
3-2 pitch. Inside. Murphy will walk Hanna. I also just saw that Mello Trimble, former basketball player there, signed a 2-way contract in the NBA.
Good for him.
With the Minnesota Timberwolves.
It was the only reason their basketball program has been anything over the past 3 years.
Jared Triolo will come to the plate. Reached on an error. 1 of 3 from Ben Baird in this game. We'll have to see how Baird is feeling tomorrow. It would be tough to get another person in here.
They don't need it.
By Saturday, if that was the case. They do have Taveras, who can play the infield. And he's shown what he's done. This one out to right. Going back is Ding Kong. And this one will leave the yard. Triolo, a 2-run blast. 8-5 Bourne.
So the struggles continue, where the Maryland product gives up 2 home runs at Spillane now this season in only 2 appearances.
Up and down, this game is gone. My emotions all over the place. Roller coaster ride at Spillane Field. Versus the Bravos is Grant Witherspoon. The Spoon will take strike one.
Yeah, Triolo crushed that one, similar to how Ding Kong did in the last inning, and that one just sails over Ding Kong's head.
Well, Ding Kong came in at first, thought he had a play on it, but then realized he had to go way back, and then ran out of room once he was at the fence.
Yep, nothing you can do about that. He misjudged it at first. It's not like it ended up mattering.
Spillane silenced once more.
Nice little breeze of wind blowing out in that direction right now. I wonder if Ding Kong was fooled by the wind.
1-2 from Murph, as they call him at Maryland.
You know, and that's why walks kill you. Right now, 2 runs on 1 hit in this inning. But you give a batter a free pass, and then the guy behind him just destroys a baseball, and that run, it counts.
Bourne has now scored in 4 consecutive innings.
Same as last night.
The only difference is that it wasn't the first 4. Can I help you, sir? No, thanks. Just looking. Grant Witherspoon goes down looking.
Late call from the umpire. I think he just wanted to give a charity call to Moore or Murphy.
I love doing that. I'm sorry. Andy Atwood. I think it's pretty cool to get on SportsCenter. I tried to get on once. Up in the air to right. Giving chase is Anchia, and he makes the catch with his back facing home plate. A basket catch. 2 outs.
You tried to get on SportsCenter for a call or an athletic achievement?
Athletic achievement.
Tell me what you did. Give me the play-by-play.
Game winner in the corner. 3-pointer at the buzzer.
That's awesome. For Sturgis East?
For Sturgis East, yes, sir. Versus Cape Cod Academy. Anthony Prado taking ball 1.
Where's Cape Cod Academy?
Centerville, Osterville area.
All right.
Out to right field. Ding Kong going over, makes the catch. That will end the inning. Not before Jerry Triolo, a 2-run home run. 8-5, the new score. We head to the bottom half of the 5th at Spillane Field. Another new ball game.
Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Cape Cod employs more than 50 full-time employees and more than 25 seasonal. Every year, more than 15 college students get great experience and support their education by working at Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod. Reward yourself. Have a Coke.
Welcome back to Spillane Field. I'm Claudia Chakamian. So even though the Gatemen had a tough loss last night, they are officially in the 2017 CCBL playoffs with that Hyannis loss. That marks their 3rd consecutive playoff appearance. And this is the first year they will not be facing the Bourne Braves in that stretch. And based off last night's game, it's probably a good thing. We found out shortly, or just a little bit ago, that the Gatemen will be facing the Falmouth Commodores in the first round starting on Saturday in Falmouth. And they did not do the best against the Commodores this year, going 1-4-1 against them. When I spoke to some of the players before the game asking who they would rather face, whether it was Falmouth or Cotuit, a lot of them said they wanted that rematch against Falmouth and to try and rebound and prove that they're a completely different team. And a lot of them were saying that the games have been close and that they were never really out of it besides that game the other night here to finish off the regular season against the Commodores. But that game at the very beginning of the season where the Gatemen walked it off in their home opener against the Commodores, and also that 9-9 tie, that was also another very close game. So the Gatemen have always, for the most part, been with it with Falmouth. They've never been completely out of it, so they've always had a shot. A lot of these players want that shot and to prove to them that they can battle against Falmouth, and that's exactly what we're going to see on Saturday in Falmouth. It should be a great matchup. Now let's continue off this matchup to finish the regular season. Back to you guys.
Back at Spillane Field. Hello, Willie McIver. Ben Bear goes 0 for 1, comes out due to injury. In comes the Washington product, with a smile on his face as always.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's too down on himself for having an off day given up. Comes in to replace his Washington teammate, so helping out a friend. It's the Willie McIver way.
He is just 2 for his last 29, however. 9 strikeouts. He's retired.
The center fielder, number 9, Robbie Metz from George
Up comes Metzi, 1 for 2. A single and a strikeout. McIver, though, with his struggles, going back to him for a moment, tied first in the league in stolen bases with 16. Him and Hunter Steinmetz will go at it in the first round of the playoffs. Will be fun to see. And it just amazes me how Steinmetz bats 9th in their lineup as Robbie Metz is retired.
I mean, that's a pretty interesting play or sequence of events right there. We've seen Metz follow McIver in the order plenty of times this season, usually in a 4 and then 5 capacity. Tonight 9 and 1. So, yeah, this Gatemen lineup, it looks really different than it used to, but 5 runs on the board tonight. That is a step in the right direction. Now you just need to clean up the defense, but that's a product of fatigue more than anything.
Jaron Duran.
You know, all in all, a 44-game season is not long at all. What it is essentially for most of these guys, it's like a 100-game season. When you follow your spring ball with summer ball immediately after, it makes it a difficult situation. So these guys can handle 44 games. Most of them don't even play in 40. But it's tough.
Three balls and 1 strike. Out to left. Base hit. Two-out single for Jaron Duran.
The first baseman, number 16, Jake Anchia.
Against the new pitcher on the hill, Kyle Martin out of Fordham. He follows Christian Ryder. Anchia takes strike 1. Martin has made 1 appearance so far on the season. And his ERA through one game is at 36. Funny how that works out.
Yeah.
0-2. Called strike 3. And Chia down looking for the second time tonight. Gatemen leave one runner on. They don't score. Still 8-5. Be back in a moment on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The 99 Restaurants has 9 real-size entrees for only $9.99. They're big, hearty portions you can count on all day, every day, like their hand-breaded crispy fish tacos with cilantro lime rice. The 99 Restaurants, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
When you're sick or injured, you want care when and where it's convenient for you. South Coast Health Urgent Care has 4 locations: Fairhaven, Wareham, and now in Seekonk and Dartmouth. You can view wait times and even check in online at southcoast.org/urgent-care. Choose the time and location that's best for you. We'll even remind you when it's time to come in, and walk-ins are always welcome. Urgent care that exists to meet your needs. More than you expected? That's more than medicine. Check in at southcoast.org/urgent-care.
Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Cape Cod employs more than 50 full-time employees and more than 25 seasonal. Every year, more than 15 college students get great experience and support their education by working at Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod.
From Kennesaw State.
Top 6 at Spillane Field. Grant Williams takes strike 1. Gatemen trail 8-5. Jacob Toby, Connor Federico, Claudia Chikamian on hand at Spillane Field. Glad to bring you this game between the Bourne Braves and the Wareham Gatemen on the Gatemen Baseball Network. And Connor, let's dive through some of the league awards. They were announced. And I guess I'll start with the MVP of the league, Grayson Genista of Cotuit.
Had a strong season for the Cavaliers. Other notable candidates: Jimmy Herron, Griffin Conine, Stephen Scott. So you knew it was either going to go to an Orleans Firebird or a Cotuit Cavalier. Just didn't expect it to be Genista, but good for him. I think he deserves it. He's played well. Shows a lot of heart for the Kettles.
Mickey Gasper takes the John Claffey Award for Outstanding New England Player. Right back up the middle, off the glove of Murphy. In for a single. Gasper actually, Sam Corman talked about him being a potential MVP candidate yesterday on the broadcast.
I thought so too. I mean, for his stature, he can really crush a baseball, and he's very defensively sound behind the plate, but certainly the most outstanding player from the New England region. It's always nice when a local can come in, have such good numbers. I guess that's why that award exists.
Lyle Lynn takes strike 1. No balls and 2 strikes. Willie Yan of the Bourne Braves took home the New England Outstanding Prospect Award last season. Also got drafted. One ball and 2 strikes to Lyle Lynn. He strikes out, and now going to second base was Williams. He'll get there safely. So there is one out in the inning. Sable threw down to first, and off to second goes Williams.
I mean, Williams just duked Blake Sable. It looked like he was caught between first and second. Sable, who had not picked a runner off at first all season, his instinct was try to get him at the bag, and instead he takes off for second.
And now he's going to third. Ball in the dirt. Sable couldn't handle it, and Williams now 90 feet away.
That's what just sloppy defensive play means.
Griffin Conine of Catuit named the CCBL McNeese Outstanding Prospect. Which I think is very deserving. The tools he has, 5 tools I'd say.
For sure.
Falmouth Commodores winning the Commissioner's Cup for exemplary and professionalism. Connected with out to right field. Right center field, that is. Metz in center makes the catch. Tagging from third is Williams. Sac fly for Palacios. 9-5 Bourne.
Attention please, ladies and gentlemen, this is your last call to purchase tickets for tonight's 50-50 raffle. Last call to purchase tickets.
So the Commodores win the Commissioner's Cup. Marty Bacchina of the Commodores wins the Manny Robello 10th Player Award. And Joshua Bro of Falmouth wins the Daniel Sylvia Sportsmanship Award.
From Sam Houston State.
And Andrew Freejay will come and pinch hit for Scott Schreiber. Swings on the first pitch. Out to left center field. Metz couldn't make the play, and it goes past him. And now going for 3 is Freejay. A stand-up triple. Going back real quick to Falmouth. They are getting recognized with the league awards. First place team.
Just wondering where these where these awards are for the Orleans Firebirds or the YD Red Sox. I know the Commissioner's Cup is all about how the organization as a whole performs, and that means things like bringing, fans to the stadium.
Paperwork actually submitted to the league as well as one category.
Interesting. So, I mean,
did you get your stuff in on time? Did you?
I
ballpark in order?
I can't speak for all of that, but Falmouth has. It's been nothing but a pleasure to go there, and we'll have one more trip back on Saturday, at least.
Jim Lawler looks like he will make a pitching change. John Murphy's night is done. We'll take a break here on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Cape Cod employs more than 50 full-time employees and more than 25 seasonal. Every year, more than 15 college students get great experience and support their education by working at Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod. Reward yourself. Have a Coke. Registration is now open for the 2017 Wareham Gatemen High School Clinics. These programs are run by the Gatemen coaching staff with a focus on exposing high school area players to the college game. To sign up for either the hitting, pitching, or catching camps, visit www.gatemen.org for more information. Don't miss a minute of this station's pre- and post-game sports talk. Tune in on your smartphone with the Next Radio app. It's live and it's local. Download the free Next Radio app from the Google Play Store today. Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonels and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu. Visit Stars Restaurant at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa for a world-class dining experience, a proud member of leading hotels of the world.
The Wareham Gatemen would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Daniel Reagans, the new pitcher, the lefty. First pitch to Jamison Hanna is inside, 1-0. John Murphy, tough night on the mound.
Yeah, in 2 appearances has struggled mightily. I mean, it's just a different situation. You're coming from the Ripken League, talented players, but it's not the Cape.
Breaking ball, inside, 2-0. Reagans made 1 appearance. Was an inning here at Spillane Field versus the Commodores. 2 hits, no earned. And he throws 3 straight balls to start the at-bat versus Hanna. Now Taveras will come out and talk to his pitcher Reagans for a moment. A 9-5 ball game at Spillane Field. Bourne has now scored in 5 straight innings.
Wow.
Their offense has been electric versus the Wareham Gatemen. And to right for a base hit. Another run will score. Frige scores. Hanna, the RBI single, 10-5.
Been quite the day for the Bourne Bats. This is exactly what they needed. This is the opposite of what the Gatemen needed. You needed a short game, whether it was a win or loss. You wanted it to be competitive. You didn't want to be blown out. There could be another big swing in a Gatemen bat coming up, though.
Jared Triolo takes ball 1 in the dirt. During the 2-game win streak before this 2-game losing streak, Wareham held Orleans to 5 runs, held Katuitt to just 2. After that, 12 runs to Falmouth, 13 to Bourne, 10, and we're not even through 7 in this one.
Reagans struggled in his last appearance too, but not a lot. He gives up a run here. It doesn't belong to him. It belongs to Murphy, but I'd like to see him settle down now, finish this inning. Talk about the effort always of Willie McIver. He hasn't played third base in a little while, but he was over there before, backing up a throw from the first baseman Anchia back to the pitcher. I mean, that's stuff you're taught to do in Little League that eventually usually goes away from most players.
Runner goes, 3-1. Throw from Sable is not in time. Duran was headed to the Gatemen dugout. He thought they got him.
Nope, definitely safe at second base is Hanna. Shapiro and the Bourne Braves not taking their foot off the gas pedal. That's what you want to do at all times. That's what the Gatemen have been doing.
3-2 fouled away.
Now, there's no question to me that the Gatemen do have the ability to come back in this ballgame. You talk about through the first 5 games, the first 5 innings, the Gatemen put up 5 runs. They could certainly do it again. The concerning thing is, can the pitching settle it down?
Triolo walks. Grant Witherspoon coming up to the plate.
Good day for Triolo. Only 1 for 3, but he hasn't been retired today. Reached on a fielder's choice and scored. Reached on an E6. Had a 2-run home run. Now walked. He's been a nice performer for the Braves.
Witherspoon struck out looking in the 5th. Runners on first and second now. Hanna is at second, Triolo at first. Bourne is 8-13 on the road this season. And 12-11 versus the Western Division. And at Dorn Park, they're 13-9. Wareham a similar record on the road, 8-13-1.
The difference is for Bourne, it's been pretty constant all season. Just before this week, Bourne went into every single game, with the exception of their second game of the season. They went into every single game with a record of 500 or better. And that has only changed as of recently.
1-2 pitch. Also similar records versus the Eastern Division. Bourne 9-11, Wareham 8-12. But the real difference is at home.
That's why Bourne will end up in 3rd and the Gatemen in 4th.
But Bourne will not be able to get home field advantage in the first round. They're headed to Katuitt. Not a lot of traveling needed. Swing and a miss from Witherspoon. Second time he strikes out. And that'll end the inning. 2 more runs score. A 10-5 ball game. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 17 seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for top-notch baseball training. With over 600 events nationwide for players age 8 to 18 and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more. Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The 99 Restaurants has 9 real-size entrees for only $9.99. They're big, hearty portions you can count on all day, every day, like their hand-breaded crispy fish tacos with cilantro lime rice. The 99 Restaurants, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Couple changes for the Braves. The bottom of the 6th. Andrew Freejay is now the new third baseman. Jared Triolo moves from third to first. And the new pitcher on the hill is Jack Nelson. Here comes Joe Durpich. 2 for 2, a 2-run shot in the first. And a double in the fourth. He scored in that inning as well.
That's a gutsy first pitch to a guy who's been dominating the game today. Durpich, just a lazy changeup right over the heart of the plate.
Pops this one out to right. Got under it a little bit too much. Witherspoon makes the catch for out number 1. Maybe for a quick moment, people thought that it could sail over right field.
Yeah, I mean, his hands there, he took a total uppercut swing at that. It was the exact same pitch, and one he could have crushed, but the difference between that swing and the other 2 hits he has is his hands totally fell down and behind the baseball.
John Topa takes a breaking ball up high from Nelson out of Boston College. This is his second appearance with the Braves. And I talked about how Kyle Martin's debut led him to have a 36 ERA. Jack Nelson's is 40.50. Freejay at third. Nice throw.
Yeah, I don't think he's given up 40 runs today. Not the way the Gatemen are hitting.
Right fielder, number 7, Giovanni Dinkong.
Here comes Giovanni Dinkong. 3-run blast in the fourth. Talking to Don Snedden before the Bourne game yesterday, said he really liked the makeup of Dinkong's body. Strong kid.
Very.
Quickly down 0-2.
Yeah, 6'2", 235. I mean, that's a good stout frame.
0-2. Out to right. Witherspoon makes the catch. And the Gatemen go 1, 2, 3 with some music playing in between. To the 7th we go. 5-run lead for Bourne.
The Cape Cod Baseball League is all about family, and it's all about fun. Friendlies is all about family and fun and is proud to sponsor the 2017 baseball season. Friendlies, life with extra sprinkles.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1991, holds over 600 events nationwide for players ages 8 through 18, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, plus 400 have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonels and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
Spillane Field, the gem of the Cape. Jacob Toby, Connor Federico. 10-5 ball game.
From the first moment I walked into Spillane, I remember I was meeting you and Matt Feld for the first time. It was right over here on a awful hot, humid, early June day. I looked at this place. I was like, what? 44 games later, I couldn't imagine leaving at the end of the summer. It's just there's nothing like playing here. It's got its own feel. It's it just is Spillane. There's no other way to describe it. And the people here, they bring a lot of life to Spillane and to the team. It's a fun place to take in a baseball game. Lucky to have the opportunity.
Andy Atwood will lead it off. The thing about Spillane Field in Wareham is that not a lot of people summer in Wareham. So these fans are year-round people that live here, and they're actual fans. They come back year after year, whereas places like Chatham or Orleans, which gain a lot of tourism, don't have the year-to-year fans that the Gatemen have.
Well, that is a very important talking point because, I mean, that is why the backbone of the organization is so good. I mean, these are locals. The host families are locals. You know, everybody who's here really cares about the Gatemen all year. And that's why, coming from the Hamptons League, some franchises are not successful because they don't have the local base.
High pop-up, McIver makes the catch.
I think I've told this story on a broadcast before. The Montauk Mustangs of the Hamptons League in 2016 made the championship game and then folded. They had no fan support. They had no host families. You had 8 guys living in one home. It was
folded, meaning
folded as in the franchise ceased to exist. You need the local support, otherwise you have nothing, and that's why the Gatemen won the Commissioner's Cup last summer. That's why they will continue to in the future.
1-0 out to right. Prado reaches for the second time today.
Scored back in the 4th on an error, and sort of just tells the story of this game right now.
That will bring up Grant Williams, the shortstop. Last championship for Wareham, 2012. They follow that season with a .933-1 record, but have been a top organization for a long time. This will be their 3rd consecutive year in the playoffs. Williams takes a strike. Last year, such a good season, won more games than any other season since 2001.
There are high expectations for this team this summer, and they haven't been bad, but, you know, 25 wins is a tough mark to get to.
They lost to these Bourne Braves in 2 games. Game 2 finished on a walk-off, an 8-7 victory. 1-2. To right. Ding Kong out there. Makes the catch. And in Game 2, they blew a 7-2 lead in the bottom of the 9th.
Heartbreaking.
And that's where Jake Garcia's famous call lives on.
The catcher, number 28, Lyle Lynn from Arizona State.
That call told the whole story. Bourne walks off, and Wareham's season is over.
Lyle Lynn fouls it off, and it was just ironic because the Gatemen were so good. Matt Felb will tell you this over and over again. They were so good in one-run games, and their season came down.
They won 15 one-run games.
Their season comes down to losing 2 one-run games.
Bananas. I mean, but last year, the Gatemen went 5-0-1 in the regular season against Bourne, correct? Now they go into a playoff series with Falmouth, where you are 1-4-1. Maybe they could give Falmouth some of the same troubles that Bourne fans probably thought they had no shot against Wareham's in last year's playoffs. Maybe it's the same situation.
Bourne and Wareham played in 2 straight playoff series.
Well, making the playoffs 3 straight times is also a nice accomplishment. Not everybody in the league can say that. Harwich had made the playoffs for consecutive years in a row and had a horrible season.
And if all stands with Tanner Dotson leading the league in batting average, that will be the 3rd consecutive year the Gatemen have the player that leads the league in batting average. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Lynn strikes out. That will end the inning. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exoforest, and Bullard. We are off to the 7th inning stretch presented by Eastern Propane and Oil. Proud to sponsor the Gatemen with locations on and off the Cape. More Gatemen baseball after the break on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
The Wareham Gatemen and the visiting team, the Cape Cod Baseball League, and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation and positive support of the participants and officials. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from this ballpark.
Want to hear more about today's game, players, and breaking sports updates? Then download the free Next Radio app from the Google Play Store and tune to this station. It's live. It's local FM radio wherever you go. The Next Radio app. Get it today. Visit Stars Restaurant at Chatham Bars Inn Resort and Spa for a world-class dining experience. A proud member of leading hotels of the world. Y'all stretched out? I'm about stretched out.
I forgot to stretch during the break, so I'm going to now. I think my first play-by-play game, I asked you what your favorite stretch was. Or maybe I asked Sam.
Oh, no, I remember that. I was confused, I think, when you asked me.
Yeah, I got a lot of harsh critiques about that. I thought I was just being funny and witty, and I'll never use that again.
Sable, Taveres, McIver. Sable tries to bunt it, and it goes foul. No balls and 2 strikes.
For a catcher, Sable's got plenty of speed. I believe he has 7 stolen bases and hasn't been caught stealing once in those attempts. So he can put down a bunt. He can beat down a bunt base hit and try to sneak one by there. But now has an 0-2 count. That's tough to work with.
0-2. Chase the gas. Thing about the Bourne Braves was coming into the season, they had a lot of hype because Roger Clemens' son was on the roster and he was expected to pitch for them. He came in the beginning of the summer and things just didn't pan out. Taveres takes ball 1.
Roger Clemens' last professional appearance for the Sugarland Skeeters of the Atlantic League.
I remember that game. 1-0 out to center.
That game was against my hometown Long Island Ducks.
You follow that team closely?
Pretty closely, I'd say. I follow them on social media. They Facebook Live their games, which is interesting.
With commentators?
With a singular commentator, yes. Yeah, it's like a phone that just sits in a solitary spot. So let it be known that the Gatemen, here at the Gatemen Baseball Network, we have better broadcasting facilities than, and, you know, we bring you a better broadcast at home than many professional teams.
Well, you do know the nickname.
We're the ESPN of the Cape.
There we go.
There's absolutely no doubt about that.
There we go.
And I've been sarcastic on this broadcast before. There's no sarcasm when I say that. We are the ESPN of the Cape. There's no question.
I mean, the Around the Horn that was just produced, if you can go check that out on YouTube, that is ESPN stuff.
You did a 30 for 30.
I'll plug it right now. Go to YouTube. Go to the Gatemen page. Did an interview with Noah Zavalis. Type like an ESPN Sunday conversation. About 5 minutes. Talked about Zavalis' journey to Wareham. He played last summer. Now he's back with the team this summer. We'll start a playoff game.
Well, you talked to him for much longer than 5 minutes, right? How long did you talk to him for?
The video is 5 minutes. I
Right.
talked to him for about 20.
I mean, from what I watched, it seemed like he didn't let anything back. He was really, he wanted to tell his story, and you did a good job of telling it.
3-2 is turned on, foul.
Sometimes from our broadcast position, I confuse the football posts with the foul pole, because the football posts are a brighter yellow and a bigger object. Thinking, oh, maybe that's fair. Not even close.
3 balls and 2 strikes to McIver with 2 outs. This one in the left. No doubt base hit. McIver stretching for 2. Here comes the throw. It's not in time, and it's over the head of the second baseman Prado, a 2-out double for one Willie McIver.
Really nice piece of hitting there. After smacking one long and far but foul, he smacks this one again. Similar power, but the trajectory on it, he just wanted a gapper out of that one. That's exactly what he got. Not trying for the home run ball, but trying to mount a bit of a comeback. Very nice.
Very nice, very nice. Robbie Metz. Pop fly in foul territory. First baseman Triolo puts it away to end the inning. Gatemen leave 1 on. And we head to the 8th. Still a 10-5 lead for the Bravos.
Earn a bachelor's or master's degree, complete a certificate, or take a single course through the Division of Continuing Education and Graduate Studies at Curry College. Classes run days, evenings, and weekends in Milton and Plymouth. To learn more about programs in business, criminal justice, education, nursing, and more, visit curry.edu.
The Wareham Gatemen would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Welcome to Wareham. Jacob Toby, Connor Federico have the pleasure to bring you this game tonight on the Gatemen Baseball Network.
For the final time, the two of us together? That is the case. We've shaken up our playoff schedule.
You mean?
There's a possibility we meet again on a broadcast.
Yes.
But the Gatemen would have to get out of the first round.
Richie Palacios facing Reagans. It's been a fun ride, my friend.
I have to tell you, it's been quite the pleasure. I mean, it's flown by so fast.
Two-one pitch. Hits Palacios. It's a lot to come to the ballpark, do the games, do the editing, and cover the team. I mean,
for the parents of ball players who are mostly the listeners to our or watchers of our broadcasts, sometimes we rip on the team a little bit, and they probably think, oh, what can those guys do? Well, I'll tell you what, we come to the ballpark every single day, prepared, ready to go, with our minds in it, and it is grueling. While it's mostly not physical, it's mostly just sitting here and calling a baseball game, it's mentally and, throughout the season, you don't get off days. These players can sometimes sit out a game and they won't be in the lineup. It's a grueling, and it's tough, but it's fun.
That's why I came back. That's why Matt Fell came back.
It's an incredible opportunity. I've wanted to be a Cape broadcaster for quite some time now, and it's awesome to be here. It's the top for everybody. It's absolutely it's the cream of the crop.
Big swing and miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, it's been a fun seat. We get the best seat in the house.
No, Matt Feld gets the best seat in the house. He's directly behind home plate.
That's true.
That's fair.
We welcome Matt to the broadcast.
I do get the best seat in the house. I mean, I'm pretty lucky. We've got an official scorer here who doesn't make me sit behind the pole, otherwise I'd have no vision. So that's.
I mean, you're between Alec and Dan. I mean,
right.
That's a great seat.
Two great personalities.
And now that we mentioned Dan Diaz, the PA announcer, it's a sad day today for us.
I was getting to that later, earlier in the inning. I said something about Larry, and I said now we have to. But then there was a play. I was going to mention Dan a while ago.
Well, Matt has the wireless mic. I mean, Dan was on the broadcast a couple nights ago.
He was. And hold on, Dan, this is your. It's the 1-2's outside. This is your final.
You can go. It's TV. They see it.
This is your final game at Spillane Field, barring a run to the championship. So what's it like to be a part, I guess, of the broadcast team? If there's someone who's not a part of the broadcast team but is a part of the broadcast team, I mean, you know us as well as anyone. What's it like to kind of follow along every day?
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I think we all hope for the best in this upcoming playoff run. But I have to thank you guys. This has been an absolute blast this summer. Regardless of some of the being on the short side of some tough games, we've had a blast each night here, and you guys have done a phenomenal job, and I hope that we can stay in touch when you guys head back to school. So hats off to you guys.
Dan Diaz with the best Twitter presence of a PA announcer that I've ever seen in my life.
As he doesn't try to laugh before he makes the announcement. And he can't even do it. They'll go to a pitching change. We'll keep it here.
We'll keep it right here. Well, we were having such a lovely time reminiscing, of course.
Matt, I want to ask you. I mean, we've both been here now for 2 years. What's it been like? It's been a roller coaster.
It's been a roller coaster. You know, last year with only one rain out in the beginning of the season, the season went quickly. Not that the season did not go quick, but the last season just flied because of the fact that we followed a straight schedule. We knew right in the beginning what our schedule was going to be, and so it was very organized and very set up. This summer, with the rainouts that we've had, we haven't had a real off day since, I believe, the rainout on July 13th. I could be wrong. The Fenway Day does not count, in my opinion.
No, we hiked all the way up there.
As Riley Gates will come into pitch. But in my opinion, it's been an interesting season. I didn't know what to expect. You know, I talked to Jake Garcia, just what it was like coming in for a second season, because totally different players. You know, I think we were pretty lucky that head coach Don Senna was part of the coaching staff last year. When you look at it, some of the coaches around the league are not as personable with the broadcasting crew, and they come out and say that right to you. They're not as comfortable being on camera. And I think between head coach Jerry Weinstein last year and head coach Don Senna this year, I've been pretty lucky, and Jacob, I think, would agree, in terms of coaches who are very open to talking about the game, and that makes it much easier.
Yeah, I mean, for a third of the season, we interviewed Don during the game. I mean, that was crazy. It was good stuff. And
I don't know how Jerry would feel about that.
No, I was just about to say Jerry Weinstein would probably not have done that to that extent. But, you know, Claudia did a great job with those interviews, and Don's been great to us. He'll always give you stuff, no matter what. If it's during batting practice, he'll talk about every guy you want to talk about.
We also did a lot more content this year. Of course, Around the Horn we did not have last year. We unfortunately could not do any Fenway Day coverage due to the rain, as did no broadcast, which was unfortunate. But we had great All-Star Game coverage. We had, as I said, between Around the Horn, the pregame show, the more elaborate pregame show this year definitely than last year. I was just watching some of our postgame stuff from last year, and I was dying laughing while watching it. But definitely this year much more in-depth, I'd say, than last year.
No doubt. We did have some laughs last year, I'll tell you that much.
We did.
We had some laughs this year, too. Specifically before taping the pre- or post-game. It was just
a lot of outtakes.
A bit challenging. I mean, our producers, Matt Weaselthayer and Nick Veronesi, had some trouble editing because there were just a couple takes where laughs stopped us totally.
And if you haven't, go ahead,
No,
Connor.
that's the thing about having multiple people in it. I mean, we all love each other and get along very well here, but sometimes a little too well. and then the take just goes off the rails, but you'll never see that on YouTube.
Well, if you were lucky enough, sometimes if you got the first click in, you saw it before by accident.
Riley Gates, the new pitcher. Swing and miss from Hannah.
There have been a couple instances where Matt and I are sitting back at the chaplain's household this season, and we go and look at the Gatemen Postgame Show, and there's an outtake. And we say, "Oh no, we got to get this. We got to get this down." We've done a good job covering it up.
That happens. Matt, since you're on with us, I'll get your take. Going into the playoffs, if all holds true, a 3-game losing streak, and in those 3 games, double-digit runs for the opposing team. How does that impact your playoff run?
Well, I think the big thing has not just been the runs scored, it's that they've been pretty much scored in every inning. It's not the fact where one team's coming in and putting up 9 runs in the 3rd inning. This is the 3rd straight game where in 4 straight innings the opposing team has scored. They've just been unable to stop the bleeding. I think the Gatemen are a little more well lined up. They haven't had Aaron Hernandez pitch in the last couple of games. They haven't had Brett Canine pitch in the last couple of days.
Yeah, we just talked about it. How there are off the air. There are some arms, powerful arms that are in this bullpen that are not been used.
That just drilled the plexiglass. Holy smokes, Connor! You would have been Souvenir City if the plexiglass did not exist.
I would have caught it. I'll tell you what, I'm very much looking forward to our organization softball game tomorrow.
Oh.
I plan on going 4 for 4, a couple jacks.
See, I did too last year, and then I realized I couldn't.
If Team President Tom Gay ends up pitching to me, I'm going to send a couple over the fence.
Well,
he's saying no shot.
Hannah awaiting the 1-2, fake pickoff to second base. I will say this, with all the calls I've had of the diving plays in center field, I think now that translates to me making a diving play in the softball game in center field.
Has to happen.
That's how the transitive property works. Learned that in 8th grade algebra.
Did you play last year?
I did not.
You didn't?
No, we had well, after the 1-2.
Swing and miss. Nice pitch from Riley Gates as he comes in, strikes out Jamison Hanna. That strikeout brought to you. You know what? How about you read that?
That strikeout is brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaras, and Bullard. No, last year on the off day, Jerry Weinstein held a practice with the team, so I actually showed up, covered the practice.
You did.
And whatnot, and that was actually rather enjoyable. It was rather laid back. Head coach John Seddon said his team won't be practicing tomorrow.
Day off needed.
Day off, much needed.
Jared Triolo has 2 runners on with 1 out. So will you play?
Probably. Barring anything else that I'm not doing anything else. I don't know why it would be. I will be out there.
I don't know. I would disagree. You're always doing something.
That's depends.
Where were you today? Tell the people.
Today I was at UMass Dartmouth. Head assistant coach Daryl Maxwell and I had to drop off the pitching machine that we borrowed for the summer. I'm surprised I don't have any journeys in store for tomorrow.
How do you get roped into doing that?
It's a good question. I showed up today around 12:30, of course, and Coach Maxwell said he was taking a ride to drop it off, and I offered to help, and sure enough.
How far is that?
About 25 minutes, not bad.
It's different from my house. It's about an hour.
Always entertaining to take a road trip with assistant coach Maxwell.
Max. What'd you talk about?
Oh, boy. The count now, 1 and 2. We just talked about the season, my 2 years here. You know, he always reminisces how fast it goes by.
I mean, he's been here for 13 years?
It's his 12th season,
12th season, yeah. 12th season.
And he just, you know, he always talks about how as much as he loves the players of the team, but also, you know, talks about not being able to see his grandkids play.
1-2 to center. Coming in is Metz. That will fall in front of him. They'll hold the runners at third and second. Now the bases are loaded with 1 out.
As you mentioned, there's going to be some interesting lineup calls to be made in the next couple of days when the Gatemen head to Falmouth on Saturday. We're going to have to take a look and get an update on Ben Baird. He's been bothered by a bit of a sore shoulder, nothing that has impacted his play, but head coach Johnson obviously thought he short-armed that throw earlier, and that's why he took him out of the game. He was also holding it after one of his at-bats earlier. So that's going to be interesting. Randy Tavares is someone who can play shortstop. Robbie Metz, I'm sure, could play shortstop.
Little nibbler on the infield, and Chia comes over, throws to Gates, and Gates couldn't handle it. 1 run scores. The 2nd run scores. Down to second base goes Witherspoon. 12-5.
That'll be an E3. And we talk about the pitching, of course, that Aaron Hernandez can pose on Saturday in terms of him being able to get up to 93, 94 miles an hour over 5-6 innings of work. But if the pitcher puts the ball in play, you have to make the out. And so Aaron Hernandez can induce 27 ground balls if he wants to, but the throw to first still has to be made. And that's been the Achilles heel for the Gatemen over these last couple of days. And something that they were so great at the beginning of the season, even when they were losing games, it was not because of poor defense.
I mean, we haven't seen Kyle Kasser at shortstop in quite a while. I think that's his best spot this summer.
I agree.
He covers so much range, makes really strong throws. I think he belongs in that deep hole over there at the 6th spot.
You talk about the lineup for the playoffs, man. I mean, Joe Durpich, a home run. Giovanni Dinkong, a home run. That's impressive.
The Gatemen, I mean, head coach Johnson's going to have to make a decision. I mean, the best Gatemen lineup, with all due respect, still does not provide a lot of extra base hit firepower. So you may just say to yourself, we know we're not going to score. I know they've scored 5 runs tonight because of 2 home runs, but we're not going to score 4, 5, 6 runs off Falmouth anyway. We might as well put our best defensive team on the field and try to win the game 1-0, 2-1. That's probably your only shot against a team like Falmouth. And so I'd expect them to go defense first, whatever that means. We'll see. Because you're going to have to make the plays against Falmouth. You cannot give that lineup any extra outs.
And even in Falmouth, there are some guys on this Gatemen team that do not possess the power to hit home runs here at Spillane, but at Falmouth, it's a much different story. I bet Stephen Kwan could, Jared Duran, I bet they could jack one out of there if they get the right pitch.
So could you see a situation where the lineup changes from game 1 to game 2 as it switches to Spillane Field? Coming in as Ding Kong makes the catch. throws it in quickly for out number 2.
I don't like to play head coach, but I'll play head coach.
He asked you to.
I'd be a little. I would probably set up, in my opinion, if I was going to go defense first, I would probably play Stephen Kwan, of course, in center field. No question about that. And then your corner outfield positions are a bit up for grabs. I would consider Robbie Metz in left field and John Topa in right. I thought Topa looked a little better in right field yesterday than he has in left. I agree with you, Connor, that Kyle Kasser definitely at shortstop with William McIver behind the plate. The problem with that is you struggle to find a third baseman, but Willie McIver is definitely your best defensive catcher in my opinion.
So what do you sacrifice, the catching position or the third base position?
Third base.
Yeah, as of lately, it's been the catching struggles. So, I mean, while but Robbie Metz could also come play third base, but then it's the question of the corner outfield spot. Thankfully, the new guys make this discussion harder instead of easier.
Agreed. All agreed.
I think who gets the designated hitter spot will depend if Falmouth throws a lefty or a righty. If they throw a lefty, Joe Durpich is probably not going to be in the lineup. Jake Anchia will probably fill the designated hitter spot. I'm been a little surprised that we have not seen Jaron Duran in the outfield at all to give the Gatemen a little more flexibility. Head coach Don Seddon mentioned in his future career he'd probably have to move to center field. And I'm a little surprised we haven't seen him out there yet. And we probably just won't see him thrown out there in Game 1 of the playoffs. As that is called strike 3. That strikeout brought to you by the law offices of Lang, Exafaris, and Bullard. 12-5 Braves after 7.5.
The Wareham Gatemen and the visiting team, the Cape Cod Baseball League, and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation and positive support of the participants and officials. Profanity, racial or sexist comments, or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from this ballpark.
Did you know that Baseball Factory has partnered with the Cape League for the past 17 seasons? Baseball Factory is your resource for top-notch baseball training. With over 600 events nationwide for players age 8 to 18 and over 100,000 college success stories, you too can build your way to greatness with Baseball Factory. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn more. New pitcher on the hill for the Bravos. It's Sean Leland. Leland comes in after Jack Nelson. And Leland, an interesting character out of the bullpen. He is the one player that always has Dunkin' Donuts described by Daniel Bees, the pitcher for the Bourne Braves, in an article written a couple days ago on the Bourne website. Jacob Toby, Connor Federico, and now our producer, Nick Veronesi, joins the broadcast.
How are you doing tonight, guys?
We're all right. Are we?
Been better. Been better. I mean, the team has done better, but looking for a little life right now.
Very true. I tend to bring life to things.
Well, welcome to the broadcast. I mean, you make so many of them run so smoothly.
I try my best. This has definitely been an interesting year for me because I've actually never done productions heading into this year. So it's definitely been a learning curve.
Yeah, I mean, you don't grow up too far away from here.
Yeah, I was actually born and raised in the Springfield area of Massachusetts, but I went to high school. Out in Marion, Mass, so one town over. So I've ran into a lot of people that from my high school years here, and it's kind of cool.
Luke Kenline, the trainer, being one of them.
Not just him. He graduated a year before me, but also Rael Novik, the trainer.
Hit down the third base line. Foul. Duran was ready to go to second, maybe even third on that roundabout.
Let the record show that same ball was called fair last night in favor of the Bourne Braves. That was back at Bourne, and eventually was legged out for a double.
Also, he wasn't a full-time member of the Gatemen per se, but Brian Shropshire was one of the scouts in the Cape Cod League, and he came to a lot of the Wareham games for the first half of the year before the All-Star break. He also graduated the same year as Luke. So
very cool. So a lot of Tabor Academy grads getting their future careers started with the Gatemen.
I think Nina Resmini was a former intern here. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but she came back and got a warm welcome back to the ballpark during one of the home games. That was really cool.
I believe it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay.
Believe so.
Well, I mean, you would know if she was here last year.
Yeah.
Right.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
I can't honestly say I know everybody's name, but I know faces around here. I mean, so many interns. We have such a strong program.
More than last year, for sure. 16 baseball ops interns, 2-2 outside.
It surprised me going to other going on road games and seeing the interns for other teams, because you think, oh, well, there's probably going to be 20 or so interns for their teams because they're just as notable as the Gatemen. And then you realize 3 broadcasters, maybe like 4 or 5 like store or concession stand workers. It's very interesting.
Duran headed down to first while Lynn lost the ball. Couldn't hold on. So Duran makes it to first on the strikeout.
Just off the sound, I thought that was a foul ball, but clearly it wasn't. The catcher, the umpire, and the batter Duran would know better than I would. Duran smartly just took off right after swinging and missing at that one, and good work.
Nick, interested to hear this answer. One player that's impressed you the most from Wareham?
It's funny you asked that, because I'm actually thinking of doing a sports article for the website I work for called iSportsweb.com. It's just an online job where I write articles about professional sports. But anyway.
Shameless plug. I love it.
I love shameless plugs. Follow me on Twitter at JTubs23.
Oh, no, but you're stealing his shameless plug. Stop it.
At JTubs23.
It's whatever. You're popular already.
iSportsweb.com.
Anyway, if I had to pick one at the moment, I'd have to go with one of the pitchers. And as of right now, I'd have to give that to Griffin Roberts.
Who's no longer here.
Yes, he's no longer here, but he played. He
did?
started a decent amount of games. I don't know if it was like 7 or 8 starts or something like that. That's a pretty good amount for a full season. And, of course, he was an all-star. So until recently, the pitching has been a big part of Wareham's success. Obviously, pitchers have left, and that's caused a little bit of frustration. But Montgomery, Justin Glover, Griffin Roberts, Miller Hogan, his last 3 starts or so, that's probably some of the best performances I've seen this season.
Catch made by Triolo, and Chia retired in foul territory for out number 1.
I think we were all sad when Hogan ultimately made his final start, because he was such a valuable part of the team. So yeah, I'd have to go with at least those 4, and you never know with some of the others, like Fioli, he might not have been great the entire year, but he had a couple of amazing performances every now and then.
Duran now caught in the pickle, trying to escape it. The pitcher, Leland, still has the baseball, and he's trying to get away. Did they tag him? They did.
I mean, that was, to me, clearly defensive obstruction. The pitcher, Leland, was in the way of Duran trying to run back to second after Leland threw the ball. He just chilled in the baseline. I guess the umpires don't really care at this point.
I guess overall, the experience I've had in my first year here, it's definitely been, it hasn't been perfect, obviously. I obviously made mistakes here and there. Maybe some of the viewers have probably heard it. But it's definitely a process. I'm not going to go from no idea what I'm doing to suddenly I'm an expert in 1 year. As much as I would love for that to be possible.
Trust the process.
I'm a Celtics fan, so I don't really trust that process, but but yeah, not obviously. I have about a year and a half until I graduate, so is that Sam Corman playing ball with a fan again? I think it is.
Yep, he's playing catch while doing play-by-play
He did that last time.
Yeah, wow. For
I guess he's a good multitasker. Anyway. But yeah, I have no idea if I'm going to be back next year or if I'll find another opportunity, but I definitely am thankful for the opportunity. And I love watching baseball every day, basically.
Gatemen fans love watching Joe Durpich, 3 for 4 after that base hit.
Nick, what do you know? I mean, you, like Sam Corman, do know quite a little bit about the other collegiate leagues around here, the NECBL, the Futures League of New England. What do you know about the Danbury Westerners, where Durpich comes from?
Well, I haven't really followed the NECBL nearly as much as Sam has.
Okay.
I've become very familiar with the minor leagues and major league systems.
Right.
I lived near one of the minor league teams, the Columbia Fireflies, for college. So
Tebow, no longer, but
no, Tebow is no longer there. I'm not buying any of his gear. I am not following the Tebow craze, but I have actually met him.
Bring him up to the Mets.
He actually broadcasted a game for University of South Carolina football, and he walked past me at one point because I was working at the stadium suites at the time, so that was kind of amazing. I was starstruck.
The only time I've been to a Patriots game was Tim Tebow's preseason debut with the Pats.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Broncos playoff game went against the Patriots where they lost like 45-7.
No.
Because that was his last game as a Bronco, and it was not pretty.
No, it was not.
But yeah, anyway, I've been sidetracking a lot. My bad.
Through the 6-hole. Topa.
One thing that I've definitely done better at is trying to understand the process before making the draft, getting drafted, and going professional.
It's a lot.
From the articles I write, that you look at the prospects list. Every now and then you'll see the Cape Cod League and where they came from, things like that. But I've gotten to talk a lot with the scouts and even the players about where they are with their process and how they will try to get to the big leagues. I don't try to say, oh, this person doesn't have a chance at making the majors, or this person doesn't have a chance. Honestly, Aaron Judge, we've talked about Aaron Judge a lot. He only had 1 home run in the Cape Cod League, if I'm not mistaken.
You're right.
Did you really I don't know if you probably weren't here at the time, but if you saw one person hit 1 home run, would you think that he would become the best power hitter in the majors right now?
No.
Probably not.
That's my answer.
It's easy to say yes nowadays, but he's already gotten plenty of experience. So you think Jake Anchia, he's got 5 home runs this season, 2 of them at this ballpark. Who knows? Maybe that 5 will jump to, say, 30 in a few years. And you can say, oh, well, that's crazy. You never know.
But it happens.
You just never know. You could see Tristan Pompey. He hit 2 long balls in his first game here. I was sitting out in left field when that happened.
I was with you. Or you were with me, rather. I don't know. Doesn't matter the phrasing.
Whatever. I mean, it's kind. You think maybe that'll happen more often in higher leagues. It really just depends on the coaching and things like that.
2 on, 2 out. Gatemen trying to make a comeback here. 12-5, they're down. Giovanni Dinkong with a 1-2 count facing Sean Leland. Time called at the plate. You talk about the minor leagues. Great book I've read. It's called Where Nobody Knows Your Name, Life in the Minor Leagues by John Feinstein. Read that.
Great writer.
I'll throw it back to you. I've read another book bottom of the 33rd about the longest game in MILB history, where the Paw Sox beat the Rochester Red Wings. But I got to go back to work, so I will bring it back to you.
Produce us out of this break, or out of this inning, to the break, to the top of the ninth.
Registration is now open for the 2017 Wareham Gatemen High School Clinics. These programs are run by the Gatemen coaching staff with a focus on exposing high school area players to the college game. To sign up for either the hitting, pitching, or catching camps, visit www.gatemen.org for more information.
The 99 Restaurants has 9 real-size entrees for only $9.99. They're big, hearty portions you can count on all day, every day, like their hand-breaded crispy fish tacos with cilantro lime rice. The 99 Restaurants, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. Coca-Cola Bottling Company of Cape Cod employs more than 50 full-time employees and more than 25 seasonal. Every year, more than 15 college students get great experience and support their education by working at Coca-Cola Bottling of Cape Cod. Reward yourself. Have a Coke.
Head to the ninth. Cody Smith, your new pitcher on the hill for the Wareham Gatemen. Jacob Toby, Connor Federico. Out goes Nick Veronesi, our producer. In comes once again Maddie Fell, the beat writer. How's it going on the other side of that? Oh, now you're over here on the press box side.
It's like a revolving door. It's like a revolving door.
It is a revolving door. I mean, who else we got up here that wants to talk at this point?
I just don't know if you could sum up a more kind of this is the way this has gone happening than that was. The 2 hits surrounded by someone getting picked off or caught stealing that would have made it bases loaded, 1 out. I mean, I feel like that is just that in a nutshell right there. As Cody Smith, the man that was the reserve outfielder for 3 days, which we'll get to at another time.
Or right now. There's plenty of time.
There is plenty of time. Well, we only have 1 inning of baseball left.
1 inning of regular season ball at Spillane. Now it sets in.
Now, goodness. Wait, stop. That's impossible. We literally just got here. Or not you. You've been here. But I literally just got here.
You're right. Grant Williams, the shortstop, stepping in. It's Williams, Lynn, and Palacios.
One legitimate concern for the pitching staff is that once you get beyond, even if the Gatemen were to win in the first round, let's say they are able to overtake the Commodores and win those 2 games behind the arms of Hernandez, Wolfram, Canine, you name it, Zavalis. The pitching has been a little dry after that, and you need, in a run, as the ball's hit out to right field, and King Kong makes the catch for the first out of the inning. If you're going to make any sort of substantial run, you need a deep pitching staff. And what happened last year with the Gatemen is, from a pitching standpoint, even if the Gatemen had held on to that Game 2 lead, they had no pitching left for Game 3.
No, you used every arm imaginable. Name them, I mean.
And that's where coaches here are in a very tough position. They have to not play for 1 game, but they have to map out their pitching staff for the series. Because if you use it all in Game 1 or Game 2, then you have none left for Game 3 or Game 1 of the following series.
First pitch swinging, Lyle Lynn. Well, you make great points. Don't tax your pitching staff. But then again, you can't worry about future games. It's that game right then, to a point, I guess.
And that's how the Gatemen played that game, too. You know, and they had to play it that way. Their Game 3 starter had to pitch in Game 2, 3 innings, Zach Pop.
Who had Pop, by the way.
Who had Pop, 94, 95 miles an hour, drafted in the 8th round by the Dodgers this year, I believe.
Yep.
Really was just, when he was throwing strikes, a sight to behold with his velocity and his movement.
But there were some control issues.
When he was throwing strikes is the key word there. And Jim Lawler and I were actually talking about him the other day, but I digress.
You do? You do digress. 1-2.
One thank you I would like to specifically call out to is the players who are here since the first day. There are plenty of players that come in and out, but Willie McIver, John Topa, Ben Baird. It's the throw on the run by Tavares is in time, dug out by Jake Anchia.
Jake Anchia.
Blake Sable is truly
Robbie Metz.
Truly improbable. Yes. Well, we got to a point that you wanted to get to. I was going to get to Robbie Metz.
Okay.
Specifically Robbie Metz and Brett Canine, who have been here for 2 years. They've been nothing but great to Jacob and I on the broadcast.
Did you
He
call
said
Robbie
Retz again.
Robbie Retz.
Robbie Retz.
I think Matt's going to go over and talk to someone very, very important around these parts here for the Wareham Gatemen.
Lawrence. I'm here now with Lawrence.
Lawrence. Oh, he doesn't want to be interviewed.
Come on, Lawrence.
The Music Man.
Lawrence, if you don't mind, I do have one question for you. You've now done this for 7 years. And what was really interesting to me this year is you told me that John Weil did not like music in the press box.
I did not know that.
He didn't like it during games. He was fine with it for warm-ups, but did not like it during games. What about you as a fan wanted to bring it to life and make it a part of a Gatemen baseball game?
He's in the
no comment from the most humble man at Spillane Field.
He's in the middle of eating.
He's got some French fries, crisp fries, good fries here at Clem Spillane Field. As
Oh,
the bat
look
goes
out.
flying.
Oh, the bat flies into the netting, down to first. Is the throw. Palacios strikes out to end the inning.
As Ken Singleton would say, look out.
Is Larry actually not speaking?
That's all right. Well, we appreciate that. We appreciate the polite decline, but
we'll keep it here.
We'll keep it here.
There's no need.
But back to what I was talking about. Robbie and Brett have been obviously outstanding for us over the last 2 years. There's been return players who at times have not been as cooperative, but Brett especially has always been willing to do any sort of interview, any sort of return piece. I think Robbie Metz was asked to do about 95 pieces about why he came back to the Gatemen at the start of the season, and was more than willing to talk about it. And we obviously greatly appreciate that.
We do.
I should not omit Noah Zavalis, of course, who is probably at the toughest road, as you touched up on, Jacob Toby, being a temp player and then invited back. It's rather rare out here on the Cape, and he was willing to work for it, and he came back out here and has had nothing but success. And those always out there with Brett Canine, Grant Wolfram, Riley Gates, working on the mound, working on the plate, the infield, picking up garbage.
That's what people don't see.
That is what they don't see. As we get an image of the moon on the broadcast, looks like a Lay's potato chip.
I think I see Grant Wolfram turning into a werewolf.
I say, woo! And that is, as you mentioned, that is the stuff that no one sees. The 1 p.m. Noah Zavalis, Brett Canine, the pitching staff out here to pick up the trash, cut the weeds, mow the lawn, water the infield. They are out here for 4, 5, 6 hours between the lift and the pregame, and they really do give it their all. And of course, give it everything they have, just on behalf of the team. And that is very impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. Love talking to Noah. Go on the Gatemen Twitter page and can find that interview.
Highly recommend it.
I think Matt Feld's going to talk to the official scorer,
Thank
Alec
God,
Pereira.
I've been waiting for this.
We're here now with Alec Pereira from Point Streak.
First question.
Alec.
How do you feel about Point Streak now?
Alec. We're not going to interview the official score. That's a lot of pressure.
I think
right now, one question.
So many people, if they can't catch the broadcast, will either go on their phone or look on the computer and follow along with the Point Streak, getting updated second by second. And this is the man who's been doing it for all the home games. Alec, say hello.
Hello.
And that's Alec Pereira. Jacob, back to you.
Pereira, come on. Give us something else.
It has been an interesting season.
What's the worst thing someone said to you when you've scored in a play?
I think that came from Wareham, didn't it?
Feld knows most of that story, where a fan member in the crowd yelled out that everything's a hit here in Wareham.
That was after a diving attempt by Jaron Duran.
Everything is a hit. Blake Sable coming up to the plate. Alec Pereira, also an avid Red Sox fan.
Toby, is there a Gateman moment in the last 2 years that sticks out to you?
Ooh, I love this question. And I don't know, I think the moment of walking off versus Falmouth, first home game of the season, is stuck with the broadcast team for this whole season. I feel like that's a big moment.
Look at the card that sits above your head. Scott Pullitz.
Scott
from
Pullitz
Falmouth.
could not handle the baseball that night, and I'm reminded by that every time I come to the broadcast booth because Connor Federico's player card of his notes of Scott Pullitz is tacked to our board.
Well, he was released by Falmouth. I didn't need it anymore, so I just left it up there. And we put the quote up, "He doesn't handle the baseball," by J-Tubbs23, Jacob Toby.
Another moment, trying to think, I mean, it was really a fun season last summer. Everything was enjoyable. I guess one of the moments that I would look back on is when former head coach Jerry Weinstein would be a little tougher on me. I was doing my first sort of interviews as a broadcaster at the time, and they weren't as good as what they've gotten to now, which certainly isn't still the best, but they're getting better, and it made me realize, oh, I got to step up my game a little bit here with the famous Weinstein.
The famous Weinstein, indeed.
Moments for you?
There's a couple. I think the first playoff game, as the Choo-Choos fouled off, the first playoff game against Bourne, the game did not go the Braves' way. But I just remember there was a lot of course, excitement around that Gatemen team. Most wins since 2001. There was, I believe, I'd have to go back and check the box score, but if I recall the attendance, about 1,800 people here. It was packed. A lot of Braves fans as well. And it was a terrific environment. I remember in the top of the 6th inning with the game tied at 1, Cole Freeman made back-to-back diving plays up the middle, line drives that saved the go-ahead run. They were just all-out terrific defensive plays. That was terrific to just watch and take in. I do wonder how, you never know how the playoffs would have gone differently if the Gatemen would have won that game.
Rainy Taveres takes ball one. One other thing I loved, man, there's nothing like being on the field at Fenway Park.
I was going to say that. I did not want to break Connor Federico's heart, however.
Jacob just did. It's okay. Thank you for thinking of me, though, Matt.
I'm sorry. I had to say it. I mean,
I was at Fenway Park this past week from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Now, granted, like, nobody made me do that. I did that willingly, but I just waited and hoped someone would let me on the field eventually, and it just never happened.
I will say the lead up to the All-Star game this year was pretty awesome.
Stressful.
Stressful, but Spillane Field hosting it, being on the field for the home run hitting contest, walking around batting practice, knowing that, it was
our game.
It wasn't our, well, yes, but
it felt like it. We had something to do with it.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool, I will say, to have it at our field. I don't know if I'd strive for it to happen again, but it was an awesome experience. That is definitely something that I will always remember.
One other thing I just love coming to the ballpark and talking to Tom Crane.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy lives for Wareham Gatemen Baseball.
He does.
I'll tell you that much. And he loves to come to the ballpark every day, and he always has something good to say. I always greet him with a handshake. First thing I do is shake his hand, because that's what you do. You respect the people that are above you, and that's what you do.
You respect the person that was the leader in putting on an incredible All-Star game. And talking to him after the event, he said, it weighed on him, that pressure, for over a year when he started planning it, and it was a great event. And at a couple points, he got to just look around and take it all in, and a great day.
I hope Willie McIver gives me a chance to tell a quick story as this game slowly reaches its
Well, we usually talk for a couple minutes
conclusion.
after the game's over.
We'll conclude things.
Go ahead.
The story last year, and Connor, you are so lucky that you were not here for this. Because last year prior to batting practice at Katuitt, the Gatemen were hitting balls out of the ballpark like there was no tomorrow. And we were short on pitchers, not position players. But as anyone who comes to batting practice knows, the pitchers are the shaggers during BP. Someone had to go pick up the balls over the fence. And it just so happened that our sideline reporter, Andre Sims, via random numbers, was chosen to be it. Jerry Weinstein threw him the bucket, said, "You got my number," and sure enough, there went Andre around the fence in his jeans and Gatemen polo, one by one, to pick up the baseballs.
2-2, called strike 3, and that will end it at Spillane Field. The 2017 regular season comes to an end. The Wareham Gatemen fall to the Bravos, 12 8-5. And you can continue with your story, Matt.
And that was kind of the encapsulation of what Jerry Weinstein was as a player. I remember talking to head coach, I remember talking to Jake Garcia before the season, and we could not get a read on Jerry. He was a very wise man. Sometimes you knew that he was wise, if you understand what I'm saying. But
I learned that the hard way.
We learned that the hard way, but him and head coach John Sutton have turned into terrific mentors of the game, at least in my opinion, and I'm sure everyone feels a similar way, and have always been willing to offer a piece of advice, constructive criticism, or just knowledge about the game that they will forget more knowledge than I'll ever learn, and I'm eternally grateful for everything they've taught to me about the great game of baseball.
I agree. Let's turn it over to baseball real quickly. Give me playoff talk, give me predictions here as we end this broadcast.
The Gatemen take Game 1 against the Commodores by a score of 4-3. Aaron Hernandez, 6 innings of 1-run baseball, but before Brett Canine gets the save. But the Gatemen fall in 3 games. The Commodores take Game 2 and Game 3, just too much offensive firepower. But mark my words, Aaron Hernandez will give the Gatemen a Game 1 win.
Who is your CCBL 2017 champion?
Well, I picked Chatham to win the East on the pregame show, Falmouth to win the West. In Blake Bernard's final season as a Falmouth Commodore broadcaster, he helps Jeff Trundy get his first Cape League championship as the Commodores, behind Alec Boehm, Marty McKenna, you name it, win the championship for the first time since 1980.
That's our beat writer, Matty Feld. Read him on gatemen.org. There's going to be a lot of playoff coverage within the next couple days. We've got the off day tomorrow, then playoff games start to ramp up. Game 1 will be at 6 o'clock. At Gulffuller Field in Falmouth versus the Commodores. Then Game 2 will be at Spillane Field on Sunday at 6:30. Game 3, if necessary, on Monday back in Falmouth at 6. Final thoughts as we head into the funnest part of the season.
Well, we don't know how long the funnest part of the season will last. I mean, if it goes as it did the past 3 games, it won't last very long. But the Gatemen have been up and down a roller coaster. There is such a good possibility that this losing atmosphere around the team disappears after an off day and they go into Falmouth. You should not like the Falmouth Commodores. I mean, you should want to beat them.
4-1.
Just hand them a loss. The Gatemen have come so close on multiple occasions of taking them down, and it just hasn't been done. So I think now would be the right time to strike and to get back. And I want to call a playoff game, Jacob. If they get swept, I won't. So I'd love to see this team put a couple of wins together.
Thank you for listening to this broadcast of Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network. The general manager of the Wareham Gatemen is Andrew Lang. The team's president is Tom Gay. The producers of today's broadcast are Nick Veronesi and Matt Weaselfair. Our sideline reporter is Claudia Chikamian. Thanks to our beat writer, as always, Matty Feld. The next broadcast of Wareham Gatemen Baseball will be Saturday as the Gatemen take on the Falmouth Commodores for Game 1 of the CCBL playoffs. The game starts at 6 o'clock. Our coverage begins at 5:30 with Gatemen Pregame Live, presented by South Coast Health. For Connor Federico, I'm Jacob Toby. Thanks for tuning in to this broadcast of Wareham Gatemen Baseball on the Gatemen Baseball Network.